Welcome to another edition of Mass Mets MM. I am your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on Twitter at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on Twitter at MMMshow75. We've got Casey here today.
Hi.
Hello, brother.
Oh, not much. Glad to be here. I apologize to Sonny Kiss for not being here last week because I had homework. My last homework in my last class had to come first. I'm sorry, Sonny. Come on again so we can talk to you.
It's weird.
He was thanking us that you weren't on the show last week.
Oh, the Sonny was not. The Sonny Kiss episode was very well received. Even Lucha Blog was hot on that one. And what's going on with you, Byron? You look like you're well dressed tonight. Why are you dressed up so much?
I am at Byron Fever. I paid a lot of money for this blazer, and I never get to wear it. So I'm going to wear it for our esteemed guest tonight.
Also, yeah, what's that sexy shirt you're wearing, Byron?
I'm wearing this shirt, which is the only tribe shirt that Lucha Underground sells because it's the best one.
Did it come with a matching cod piece, Byron?
No, okay. I think that's the only reason, really, we brought Paul London on the show is to ask.
And I wanted to tell Mr. London that I'm the fan season 2 and 3 that was always yelling for codpiece merch. That was me.
Oh, good. Yeah, they're still in China.
Damn shipping containers.
Yeah.
And if you folks haven't figured it out, our guest this evening is none other than former WWE Tag Team Champion, former Cruiserweight Champion, current Lucha Underground Superstar, and 10 million other accolades that are far too numerous to mention. Yes. Anyway, it's Paul London. It's time to go down the rabbit hole with Paul London, guys. How's it going, Paul?
Ning Hao. Ning Hao.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's Chinese. I was still in China. Thank you for having me, guys. This is cool. You guys are really teaching me a lot about technology as well with this Hangout stuff. I'll probably delete it once this is over, but it's a cool experience, and I hope we could do this again already.
Well, it is kind of fun, and it takes a little time to get people used to it and on, but we've got a few, like I was telling you before the show, we got Marty Elias on, but that was like a 2-day ordeal. And then it was like a week later, Marty Elias had his own podcast. It was like he loved it that much. He was like, I'm going to do this all the time.
You lured him with Kiss tickets or something.
Yeah, we had to lure Paul with some Faith No More tickets, you know.
Oh, you bastard. They never showed up in the mail. Yeah, those are I've seen Faith No More at the Palladium, and then I've seen them at the Wiltern. And nice. Man, those were incredible shows. The one at the Palladium was a little bizarre because I'm pretty sure I saw a girl dead. She was
not like just like goth makeup, like dead.
Yeah, they were like paramedics, like working on this girl. She was on the floor because I was kind of at the back and like one of the little kind of raised mezzanine. It's not really a mezzanine balcony per se, but you know what I mean. So it's at the back, but there was like paramedics working on this girl, and she was like white and purple, and I just figured this is last cup of sorrow, sorry, but this is my song, so I had to just enjoy the concert. But it was an experience.
I'm sure she was fine.
Yeah, maybe, who knows? If you're gonna go, fuck, man, like that's the way, I guess. Like you enjoy one of the top bands, in my opinion, of all time. So fuck it.
Yeah. I had to mention Faith No More because one of my friends would kill me. That's a huge fan of you and Faith No More. So yeah,
since I was since Epic, I guess, because I was a part of the MTV generation when they still played music videos.
Yeah,
and so ever since I've just been hooked, through all their albums, and Mike Patton as well. And
I was listening to Tomahawk earlier this week.
Oh, Tomahawk's rad, man.
I hadn't heard it in a while. It was great.
Yeah, I think especially Byron, like there's a song called Antelope Ceremony that I think the whole album, they have this tribal album, and the whole thing is just so cinematic, man. Like you can just, like, I don't know about you, but when I write things, when I write stories, or when I write a lot of anything, music helps me write, not music so much with words. It depends on the attitude of the song, but for me, I love writing to music because it inspires so much imagination that Anyways, there's this Tomahawk. There's this song called Antelope Ceremony, which is it's a really badass song. You could either really like fuck somebody to that song or like fuck somebody up to that song or like eat them, like, sacrifice them and eat them. You know,
all sound like great options to me.
Yeah, depending on the order that you do them in.
Typical weekend.
Yahia-kun in our chat room is saying that she remembers you singing at WrestleFest 8.
Probably.
Did that happen?
Probably.
I don't. I'm trying to. There's like, what? First of all, like, what is a WrestleFest? And then every like, I think every region in America, there's some promotion that runs a WrestleFest of some sorts, whether it's followed with Roman numerals or just a number, who knows? But there is a WrestleFest, you know. So very possibly, yes, that I did sing at a WrestleFest because I enjoy singing, and that's my shine, you know.
Now, Paul, are you a fan? Are you a fan of the WrestleFest arcade game?
Love
up,
it.
Because
dude,
that who was your team, dude? Mine was Bossman and Jake. Hard
that
times.
was a formidable team. Yeah, I'm such a Kurt Hennig mark that I was always either Mr. Perfect or I used Demolition on rotation. I loved the Demolition because I had Crush. I think they had Crush in that. Yeah, and I thought that was rad because he was my favorite of the Demolition guys. And I don't know. Occasionally I would use Warrior just because he was so colorful. You know.
I like once Slaughter had the
the noogie, dude.
Finish. I love that.
Oh yeah, the noogie.
Yeah, that shit was great. It still bothers me though. They called suplexes suples like Gordon Soley in the game, but none of the WWF announcers called them suples. You know, so like. It sounded like he was saying toaster souffle whenever Hulkster would do a suplex.
Toaster souffle.
Toaster souffle. Toaster souffle.
That's not. I need to go back and hear that again because it makes me hungry. Actually, I don't know. I love that. You know, but that makes me think of Jim Ross. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, like Jim Ross, he's a great announcer in a way. Like, he has his own style, you know. But if you listen to like a Jim Ross match, everything's modified. You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't know it, you can tell if he doesn't know what a move is called, which is probably like 80% of the moves. He doesn't know what they're actually called. So it's just like modified body press, or like modified tackle, or like modified backbreaker, or like modified. Like that's his excuse to get away with all this shit. Is it's modified.
Well, it's great. The JR move set is like 12 moves, and everything from there is just a modified version of one of those. A modified lariat. There it comes across the ring.
Well, everything
Real
in
blue
WCW was a sidewalk slam at one point.
Oh, hey,
Tony
Schiavone is one of the premier podcasters of this. That dude he tells the dirtiest jokes. That guy is fucking hilarious.
Really?
His podcast is great.
Schiavone. Didn't he have a mustache at one time, like way back? I think when he first worked for WWF.
Yeah, like SummerSlam '89 Schiavone, where like
it was a scum stash though. It was one of those. It was
kind of like Jesse got all hot at him and started saying, "Oh, everything's legal outside the ring, huh? Maybe you should get a gun and shoot him while he's out there, huh, Schiavone?" Oh, love it.
Jesse Ventura is incredible, man. He's awesome. He's kind of, in my opinion, still like he's not like he's like Piper-esque, you know what I mean? Like, like in the sense that he's from that generation and that iconic of like a caricature, if that makes sense, or like a persona. Yeah. But he's kind of one of the last remaining of that generation, if you think about it. Jesse Ventura, and I don't really know what he's doing right now, but man, he's a badass. I'm always a fan of that. You know, whatever he's doing. I don't even know if I don't.
Living on the side of a mountain now with all his conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
he's only my second favorite conspiracy theorist. Kevin Cross is now my number one favorite conspiracy theorist now.
He's pretty good.
Man,
I don't even think they're conspiracies when Kevin says it. When Kevin says it, I'm like, damn, you know what? That's probably true.
Mine'll still, you know what?
The intimidation factor when he talks to you, just agree.
Rest in peace, Art Bell is all I have to say. Okay, that's
Art Bell.
Art Bell,
yeah.
Late night drives, coast to coast is the way to go, right? Or kind of like early in the night drives if you're on the West Coast. But
Paul, what's the craziest conspiracy theory Cross has ever told you? Where you were just like, "There's no way, man."
I don't think I've not believed any of them. I think when we share them, there's one that we're both very excited about now. That I don't really keep up with a whole lot of popular news or who this person is or who that person is, unless it's something that interests me directly. I don't try and pride myself on knowing 50% of what's going on in the world and then trying to act like I know all of it. Like I'm just not going to bullshit you. But there is one thing in the news that's really, really fascinating to me. And it's the whole Nexium, Allison Mack thing, that entire thing really fascinates me because, obviously we're here in LA, a real quick hop, skip, and a jump from Hollywood, and we're all surrounded by these former studios or these former thises where a lot of this fucking shit has gone down or continues to go down, and it's really creepy. And then you think about this, there was this interview that I guess Macaulay Culkin did in Paris not too long ago where it was a really bizarro interview. Are you guys familiar with this, or am I just talking?
Oh, no, I know. Allison Mack was the Smallville girl who got herself into this weird sex cult thing.
Yeah. And so, there's obvious ties into Hollywood as far as, sex trafficking, human trafficking, but also, it seeps into like this Pizzagate thing with, just this Hollywood pedophilia thing. I'm actually talking lower right now because you never know who might be listening over the brick wall.
Totally true.
Suddenly your feed cuts out.
Yeah.
Helicopters are circling and everything. It's real weird. We told people it was going to get weird tonight on the show. Common.
The helicopter circling is not unusual for being in the in LA area or in the valley. But yeah, the whole pedophilia thing is just it's really bothersome, but it's just it goes dark. It goes deeper than that. I feel where you start delving into black sex magic. Do you know what I mean? And I know it sounds funny. But,
no, I am following you. That's the thing. Like I'm into all of this shit, and so of course, like I'm following you. I hope you're not scaring the other guys too much, but I'm on board with what you're saying.
Byron looks terrified.
No. It's our podcast for weeks now has been very staunchly anti-pedophilia.
This is true, actually. Yeah,
we have gone on record we're anti-pedo.
So yeah, very anti. Yes. We believe they should be eviscerated. Pedophiles should be eviscerated. But it goes deeper into Jack Parsons. Are you familiar with Jack Parsons?
Shit, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Jack Parsons was he was married to God. What was her name? She was an occultist in like the 50s and 60s, and but her name slips me. But it was Jack Parsons. He was this student at God, what's that school in La Crescenta?
Marjorie Cameron?
No, maybe no. It wasn't. It might have. No, I don't think it was her. I want to say like Marcella or Angela Andres or something like along those lines.
Oh, like one of those. One of the big names.
Yeah, she was a starlet, but she was in some stuff. But anyways, this guy Jack Parsons, he's who started Jet Propulsion Laboratories, JPL.
Yeah.
And so when he was going to school up there, him and his buddies were creating rockets and bombs out of like lawnmowers or something, and they were dubbed like the original Suicide Squad. And this is like in the 50s, I think, or somewhere along those lines. Anyways, it was all in the Pasadena area where there's a lot of old money, and there was a lot of people. They were so rich, they delved into like black magic, black sex magic. They had these black sex magic parties, these black sex magic orgies, where they would have these, these rich orgies with people who all believed in like Satanism, and they would have these sex offerings to these demon gods, I guess, and stuff like that. And there's a part up in La Crescenta, I want to say it's Devil's Mountain or Devil's Mouth. There's a hiking trail over there, but there's a tunnel, and the tunnel is the opening to this rock formation that looks like the devil's head. And apparently it led to the old underground tunnel sewer system in Los Angeles that's now been closed off. It's pretty nuts, man. I know I'm kind of going way out all over the place, but anyways, going back to like Macaulay Culkin, he did this interview in Paris where he talks about where he was shooting Home Alone 2, and these executives brought him into like a back tent, and this powerful suit guy was bragging about his leather shoes, and the leather shoes were like a leather that he had never seen before. And so this guy was telling him how he was a man now, and you need to like give up, your parents and sign your rights over, and you're a man and you got your life, and I'll help you, and we'll take over Hollywood together. This guy's like telling this 11-year-old Macaulay Culkin this, and he's got these weird leather shoes, and then he says something where he basically alludes to the shoes being the skin of Heather O'Rourke.
Oh,
the Guy series, and how the belief is that she was being molested and sexually assaulted for years, and there's something that disrupted in her stomach, and that's what eventually led to her death. And the doctor's kind of buffoonery was to pass it off as like some sort of weird obstruction or something like that. It's bizarre, man. Like, it really roots back to some weird stuff. I'm just gonna shut up.
Dude,
this is amazing. Our chat room is going nuts for this. They're loving it.
Check this out. Okay, my mom used to work at a building that took over an old huge aircraft.
Casey, by the way, from the topic to your mom. That's a
no. Check this out, because he was talking
her
about
leather purse. I'm just kidding.
What's the lotion on his skin?
He was talking about how JPL people were into some weird shit. Well, okay. Yeah. They moved on to this facility that was a Hughes aircraft facility, right? And they're cleaning out the old buildings, and they found operating tables in one of the old buildings. Why are there operating tables at a fucking aircraft company?
Exactly. Well,
how else are they going to do the alien autopsies?
Guy Jack Parsons, eventually he blew himself up in his own house in a garage experiment where he exploded. But he was friends with L. Ron Hubbard, and they went to a party celebrating Aleister Crowley. And Aleister Crowley was there, and I think it was in England. And apparently, as the story goes, Aleister Crowley himself went up to Jack Parsons kind of privately, and he said, listen, your friend is shady. Like, he's giving off some bad energy. Like, I would be careful with your friend, like, because I don't know that he's what he says he is, and he was talking about L. Ron Hubbard. So like, that's, it's just weird, man. It's a weird fucking twisty turny.
When Aleister Crowley says that your friend's shady.
Right. Fuck. This was before Scientology had developed, long before, and so that when he was still just writing science fiction books and stuff like that. So Scientology is another one that really fascinates me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
do you ever just want to join it? Do you ever just want to join it to find out from the inside, but then you're afraid that you'll get too sucked into it? That's kind of how I feel.
I'm afraid I'll get sucked into it. It's afraid that I can't afford that fucking religion. No, it's crazy. It's really bizarre, man. Like I'm so fucked. They're probably watching this in the chat room right now.
Well, Scientology, if you're there, give us a thumbs up.
So come on, you're gonna get weird thumbs ups from anyways. I almost went pseudo undercover in Scientology, but it fell through at the last minute. So
interesting.
Yeah,
well,
background check and everything. Not that I was joining, but I was hired to do a job for them.
Right.
And
yeah,
then
they have that weird
they backed out.
That tries to hire people all the time, which I never know what to make of that stuff.
it's a legit job. I mean, it has to be because it goes through the formal processes of being submittable. But they have this compound out in Riverside, and it's a palatial estate. That's all I'll say. I don't know. I didn't get the chance to go, but it was close. It was close.
See, we got to get the Rabbit Tribe as a religion, and then you don't have to pay taxes anymore.
But isn't it?
I
already don't pay them.
I think there's a lot of people that kind of loosely follow that religion already. But so, Paul, you're a Texas guy, right?
Yes, sir.
So wait, it got to be Austin, right?
It's the only city to live in. And no, you can live in San Antonio if you like Mexican food. You can live in Dallas if you like cowboys and stuff. You can live in Houston if you want to jump on the bandwagon of the Rockets. And you can live in Austin if you just want to be yourself and just fucking kick it,
Well, I like it. I like Austin because every time I go there, they take it very seriously with the whole keeping it weird thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's not so much that they're stressing trying to be different. Like it's not like that part of LA where you can tell people aren't from here. And I'm not claiming to be from here. I'm certainly not from LA, but you can tell who's thinking that they have to be weird to be considered LA people. Does that make sense?
Like Hollywood Boulevard. Like you go there, yeah.
A big example. And so it's, that's entertaining to me on a whole other bit, but that's, everyone has this public persona here and everyone has this private persona, but that's life, really, if you think about it. Everyone in life has a public persona and a private persona, but here there are, everyone's public persona is schizophrenic,
It's very true. I'm originally from Cleveland, and I had the strangest issues when I moved out here because people didn't understand sarcasm.
Hello, Cleveland.
Yeah, I found LA to be completely devoid and lacking of any form of sarcasm, and I just didn't quite know what to do.
Everyone's so guarded, everyone's like just so guarded here that they claim to not be on the defense, but they're so on the defense that they're claiming it constantly. Like I'm not racist, I'm not homophobic, like I'm not mean, like I'm loving, I'm generous, I'm sharing, I'm not, you know what I mean? They cut you off in their fucking BMW like a douchebag and fucking like, oh God, I just want to see one explosion, one self-contained explosion where nothing gets hurt except the car and the insides.
Ooh. No, they have the high-speed chases.
Driver on the 405's dream.
Oh yeah.
You watch high-speed chases, like you could get like the live feed from the helicopter when they do that. Not even watch it on TV.
That's pretty rad. No, there's like some new cops show or something that's what I don't know. I stumbled upon some cop show.
So that live one?
Yeah, but it's like it can't be live. I don't know. It seems weird,
Man,
actually, I have a funny police story. Sorry, go ahead. You're just
no, dude. I was just gonna say a lot of our listeners tweet about that live cop show constantly. And dude, there's nothing I want to hear more than your weird police story.
No, they're checking on their family or they're looking for their friends or something.
Yeah, they're just making sure everything.
I know that guy.
That's in most Austin, of our listeners.
There's this like periodical in Texas. I guess definitely in Austin. I don't know if it goes throughout, but I think they have it in North Carolina. It's probably throughout a lot of states, but it's like the latest people to get booked, and they show all their mugshots in this little like 5 little page pamphlet that comes out weekly, and it just shows you like the latest criminals in the area in this little pamphlet, like a little brochure or like a program when you go to like a wrestling show. Like these are the current participants in your area.
Dude, how dope would it be if Byron could get us one? Because he's in Florida. He gets all the weird shit, man.
Probably could. Oh my God. Probably, yeah, there's probably they're usually at the gas station, like where the lighters are and stuff like that. The Masapan. Man, I was talking. Oh yeah, so this cop. I was driving down in Hollywood, and I come up to the light, and I'm driving west on Sunset and Vine, and I'm at the light, and this police officer's the car next to me, and I kind of wave him down, and I say, "Excuse me, is it real that I could do a ride along with you?" And I'm dead serious, you know. I'm not like trying to be a snot, or I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Oh, is that real? But you know, so I asked, I was like, you know, is that a real thing? You know, like, and he goes, what? Like, he didn't, you know, I was like, you know, like a ride along, like, you know, like you see, like ride along. I said, and then this is where I became a douche, and I was like, I'm an actor, and you know, I heard you could do that kind of thing, and and I was like, you know, and I would hate to misrepresent you someday, and and he goes, and he totally, I mean, he understood, and he was like, oh yeah, actually, go down to the Hollywood station, you like fill out a form and all this stuff, and you know, they probably arrest you. Just turn yourself in, and then we'll take you on a ride along. Yeah, the ride along's called We Arrest You, and but anyway,
you can't fly out of the country.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'll be like John Holmes, and I'll be joining you in Florida.
Can I tell you my favorite John Holmes story? Casey and I, our high school, we had TVs in every classroom, a morning video announcement, and some of us knew, most of us didn't know. Casey and I knew who it was, and so someone was doing the morning announcement on camera, and in the background there's a computer screen where they would put something, a different thing every day,
like "Go Vikings" or something. Yeah.
Yeah, one day it was like, who is John Holmes?
Because the guy didn't know, and they said, put it on the screen. Someone will tell you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did he go to your? I don't think John Holmes graduated high school. Wait, maybe
he did not go to our high school. Our high school was brand new.
He didn't go to our high school. You know who went to our high school was like that dude from Twilight, Jacob. He went to our high school. Yeah,
a few people.
Yeah, I don't care about that guy.
Yeah, me and Byron went to school with Walter from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. That's a dope movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still alive. It's the youngest brother in that's dead.
Oh, no, the oldest brother. He's the youngest brother that went to school with us. And the kid that's in the Leprechaun.
Wait, is that the same? No, that's a different kid from... Oh, no, he is in Mom's... Wait, the Babysitter's Dead one, right?
Yeah.
That one, Don't Tell Mom. No, the middle-aged kid is the dead one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. The Hesher brother.
Yeah. Well, Hesher. Yeah. I think.
The dude that looked like I used to look in high school, basically.
Like a modelly looking kid, right?
Yeah, like he looked kind of like he had Byron
guy.
hair. You know, he had Byron hair. He had like
that's the stoner guy. No, that guy's still alive.
Wait, there was another brother?
Yeah, like the younger, like Brad Pitty looking kind of.
Oh. God, I gotta see that movie. Because you know, Criterion Slippin' hasn't put that shit out on Blu-ray. No, just one of the guys. No Encino Man, come the fuck on. Cinematic masterpiece.
I did recently. Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say they filmed part of Biodome at our high school.
They did.
Biodome is cool.
Yeah, that was one of the great.
I don't mind it. It's one of my favorite Pauly Shore movies next to Encino Man. Those are the only two.
Encino Man is a cinematic masterpiece.
Wait, Casey, did you say that there's no Criterion version of just one of the guys?
There's not even a Blu-ray version, period, sir. I've looked, and the DVD's going for like $150 now.
I would
one of the guys is awesome, dude. I grew up on that movie.
That's one of my all-time favorites.
It was the one that was like if you had HBO in the late 90s, you came home from school, that shit was on every day. Like,
that was
and Troll 2, man. It was awesome.
It wasn't exactly HBO. I think it was more Skinamax.
Oh.
I used to say that all the time, man. I used to say that line all the time. I'd look down at my dick and be like, sorry, Spike. And then there's that other one when, like, you know, you're scratching your balls or something and someone finds that catch you and you're like, all balls itch. It's a fact.
All balls itch.
That was a line in just one of the guys.
See.
Hey, Paul, you just gave us legit. You just gave us
what was the other one? William Zabka. He's like, this is the pussy toss, and he throws him into the thing. He's like, oh, watch the prickers, and he like pricks his finger.
It's like pussy toss for distance. Whoa.
Yeah, and they do the table lift, you know, and all the lunches.
You know who else is a big fan of that movie is the Blue Meanie. So if you ever work a show with him, you have to talk to him about just one of the guys.
Oh, I certainly will.
I knew there was a reason why I liked Meanie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meanie's a good dude, man. I like Brian a lot.
So, Paul, how did you get started doing this whole wrestling thing? Let's cover a little bit of your backstory for people who don't know.
I lied a lot.
Nice.
I was a
like
I was
where
a
this is going.
horrible lying little shit. I was so first of all, getting into wrestling is much different now than it was, in like 1996 through maybe till 10 years ago. It was still really difficult to get into wrestling. You had to like know somebody or be family members with somebody or like have some in somehow. Now you have so many like Mick schools, like Mick wrestling schools, that it's absurd. Anyways, so my wrestling training I attempted to start it at 16 by going to Exotic Adrian Street's training school in Pensacola, and it was it was a disaster. It was a real disaster. Yeah, like he took my money and he used it on eye surgery, and he like didn't show me anything, and like his pamphlet was like littered with lies, and it was just a real experience, a real eye opener. But
that sucks, dude.
No, yeah, I mean it's funny in retrospect, but there was a lot of good that came out of that. Like what it was in short was, what happened was the reason I brought up if you're getting into wrestling, this is why, is because to really make it, if you even consider that something now, because there's so many avenues where you can do that, whatever that means. You really have to, like anything, in my opinion, you have to develop an like you have to either know that you're obsessed with it, or if you're not obsessed with it, then that to me is kind of a red flag, because to really like get after something and go after it fully, like you're just obsessed with it. You know what I mean? And it's not that you think like, I have to get obsessed with it, because then you're putting it on. It's not naturally something that's just pouring out of you. But if it's what you constantly cannot stop thinking about nonstop, every single thing you do, everything revolves, it turns into some sort of wrestling thought or idea or reference or this or that, then you owe it to yourself to find a reputable trainer. That wasn't so easy to do back in the day. And when we had these things called magazines, that are made out of paper that comes from trees, I ordered this thing. It was like how to be a pro wrestler, and it was like $15, and had all these wrestling schools at the back of it. And I wrote letters to all of them. There was like 20 of them I wrote letters to, and like 3 of them replied back. And his was the cheapest. I mean, that's kind of what it was. It was like $1,500, and I ended up in Pensacola, Florida, with like 3 other dudes. One of them who went on to become Shockwave the Robot.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so we kind of filmed a video where we exposed the wrestling school, by showing the brochure, and it was like, you're gonna have like state of the art like TV facility studios with editing suites and stuff. I'm not kidding you. It was like Olympic pool and like 2 state of the art rings, like Olympic weight room kind of thing. And it was like this fucking like flea bag duplex with like roach bombs all over the place. Like the editing system was like a VHS camcorder with like the coaxial cables and like tinfoil around the antennas on a TV, and like that was the editing suite. And like the ring was like a ring frame, like rusted in the background. The gym, all the weights were all rusted. They had like barnacle on them. It was a total work. It was a real experience. And I think the reason that my obsession and hunger grew is because when I was ready to take off and sitting here thinking like, okay, I've got my money, I'm here, this guy's told me he's going to do this and this and this for me, and then for none of that to happen, it could have easily just, at 16 thought like, fuck this shit, this is all full of white trash fucking bullshitters, like fuck this. But it made me hungrier, and it pissed me off. And the thing was, the benefit out of that was that me and these guys got frustrated because we were basically trying to teach ourselves, like this guy wasn't showing up. He was just coming and showing up like to try and sell us paintings. of like half naked Native Americans with like wolves hiding their dicks and stuff, and like weird shit. Yeah, I'm like, aren't you supposed to be like do these wrestling moves? He's like trying to shill off these shitty paintings of his. And so we eventually just got in the car and drove to Mobile, Alabama, and I met Stevie Richards at an indie show there, and I met Sensational Sherry, and they offered me a lot of advice. It was really cool. But years later, I ended up showing Stevie Richards this photo of us, and he was just like, it blows his mind whenever I bring it up to him. It's really pretty cool. But anyways, I just kept having all these misses, man. You know, like I missed, that was a fucking dead end. And then I came back to Austin, and like this nobody guy wanted to train me for like $3,000, and like that was a dead end. The thing that I really learned in this book that I bought for $15 that I still have somewhere in my parents' attic was if they couldn't make a name out of them for themselves, like what do you expect them to do with you? You know, like if they couldn't make a star out of themselves, what do you really think they're going to do with you? You know, if they couldn't connect fucking dots, what makes you think they're going to lead you to the promised land? You know, and there's some truth in that. Whereas I think you can get some guys who are exceptional talents naturally, exceptional athletes naturally, and they know that there's more to learn. There's always more to learn, and they don't fall into this weird kind of scam of, oh, well, this is my trainer, and when he says it's ready for me to have a match, then I'll be ready. And like 3 years later, you know, they're still paying a couple $100 a month or something to some jackass no-name plumber guy, and it sucks, you know, like you. Anyways, I could go on and on forever.
Well, but didn't you also get some time in with Dory Funk?
Absolutely, but that was down the road because like what happened at 16, I had this fucking exotic Adrian experience, which is just ridiculous. And then fast forward to 1998, 99, I ended up going to school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I spoke to Shane Douglas on the phone, and I was all set to go to the House of Hardcore 2, which was him and Dominic DeNucci were opening up the school to be a continuation of ECW's training facilities, because the first one was run by Taz and Johnny Rods in New York City, in the Red Hook district, brother. And so then in Pittsburgh, it was going to be Dominic DeNucci, who broke in, Shane Douglas, Brian Hildebrand, who was an incredible referee in WCW, The Guns, and Mick Foley. And a bunch of other guys, but those are the standouts, you know, that come to mind right now. So anyways, I get accepted to this school, Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. And mind you, I every college that I applied to out of high school was not in Texas. I was dead set on getting out of Texas, which didn't have a wrestling scene at the time. And every school I applied to, I made sure there was a wrestling school nearby it. So that was my plan. So I'm already lying to my dad right there. Like, no, I'm really interested, you know, in like Roanoke College.
Well,
like, no, I'm really interested in Santa Clara University. Like, no, I really want to go to Reed College in Portland. And I mean, I picked really good schools. And the thing was, out of all the schools that I applied to, I think I applied to 12 or 14 or 16 schools. One of those three numbers sounds accurate, but I got into all of them. I had my choice of every school I applied to. So there was a time when I was smart. And I ended up going to Pittsburgh because Shane Douglas called me and left me this voicemail on my answering machine back when there were these things called answering machines, which were connected to these other things called landlines. And that was when someone would call a phone that was connected to the ground. And you couldn't travel with it, and you couldn't take pictures with it either, or you couldn't discriminate the human race with these phones either, unless you were teenagers. Then you would discriminate your brother's or your sister's existence because you were on a phone call. But either way, we had these things called answering machines, and I remember Shane Douglas left this message. That's what it was on my machine. He was like, "Hello, Paul. This is Troy Martin." You know, and it was real, and I thought like, "Holy fuck!" Like he left his real name. Oh my god! And like the tape was new, but I like took it out anyways and like saved it. I think until my brother recorded, you know, some ska shit over it. No, it's fine. So anyways, I ended up going to Pittsburgh. I enrolled to this school, and in the process of finishing high school and getting there, right before I was going to get there, Shane Douglas tore his bicep. He had, I think, started in WCW. There was some match where he had barbed wire and he tore his bicep. And so all the training was like off. They canceled it. And I ended up in Pittsburgh going to Duquesne University with like nothing to do, except go to
And that was
class.
in 98, right? Because I think I saw him
99.
I think I saw him in ECW in Florida for the second or third pay-per-view or whatever, and he still was taped up when he was fighting Taz.
He tore his bicep. He tore it quite a bit, but I think he tore it 2 or 3 times. This would have been in like 99 because I graduated high school in 99 at the ripe age of 19. A little bit of idiot trivia for you right there.
No, I thought you said you were smart back then.
I was so smart with the other bad kids in kindergarten that we convinced the teachers to make a grade to slow us down. So they made up, I'm not kidding you. It's like these teachers were part of like the Secret Service or something, and they were like spotting out like who they perceived to be like a future bad kid. And so they made up this grade called pre-first. It's between first grade and kindergarten, or I should say between kindergarten and first grade, where you go to it's a grade called pre-first, right? What the fuck is that? Just say kindergarten plus. And yeah, that was like all the bad kids. It was just like all my friends. And so we all ended up kind of graduating at like 19 or so. It's weird. I don't know. Everyone's like graduating at like 17. Like, what, were you held back 2 years? Like, no, I just went through puberty fast.
So you're at Duquesne. The House of Hardcore thing is falling through. So then what do? You just stayed in Pittsburgh?
I made the dean's list.
What were you studying?
Hell yeah. Congrats, sir.
Communications and theater, Communication is such a bullshit general that you get into at the beginning. You're like, well, I'll just start off with kind of these basic core curriculum classes, and then I'll filter it down. But like, I didn't really get that far until I ended up transferring. So what happened was I was in Pittsburgh with nothing to do but, enjoy myself. And I ended up finding like some independent shows in the area that I would take like a bus like an hour away to some village around it and then back, and I'd be like the only person in there like really like hyper examining like every match, everything. It's so just an idiot mark, and but I was really depressed. I was really depressed because that was the real main reason I went there. And don't get me wrong, like I love Pittsburgh. It's one of my absolute favorite cities. I consider it a second home, and it also has the most bridges of any city in the U.S. If you didn't know that. Yeah, Pittsburgh's amazing. It's beautiful. And the thing was, my brother went to college in Philadelphia at Penn, and so he's a lot smarter than I am. And but I got the street smarts. So I remember visiting Pittsburgh after Philadelphia, and it was like going from gray and black and drizzle to like sunshine and trees. Once you drive through that Fort Pitt tunnel, it just opens up and you see like, the 3 points, whatever. And it's beautiful. Pittsburgh's a beautiful city. So is Philadelphia, but I question the brotherly love.
Well, there's a bit of a rivalry between the two cities. I'm more of a Philly guy myself. I've only heard bad things about Pittsburgh.
Well, no, I mean,
I'm from Cleveland, so you know what I think. I mean, I can't.
It sucks because one of our co-hosts is a Philly guy, but he's actually at the last PWG show in Reseda tonight.
That's a little promotion.
That's something about. I was gonna pop over there, but I have so much laundry. But I, who else is from Cleveland? As we tie this in, John Holmes.
Holmes is from Cleveland, eh?
Oh, bringing it around.
I'm pretty sure he's from Cleveland. I don't know. My Wi-Fi doesn't reach out here. I think he's from Cleveland. I'm a big John Holmes mark myself. So actually, every time I drive through Laurel Canyon, I'm like, should I take Wonderland?
I used to go over that way quite a bit.
It's pretty awesome because if you think about it, I mean, I've mapped out and been to where the Eddie Nash house is, where they based the Alfred Molina character in Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
That whole thing, like that Eddie Nash house, it's like in, on the backside of the hills and like the richer part of Studio City. And it's literally less than 3 miles, maybe less than, it's definitely less than 5 miles apart from like the Wonderland house to the Eddie Nash house. It's like, let's go to this house 5 miles away.
Yeah,
and, like,
I don't
beat
even
the
think
fuck
they're
out
that
of 'em.
far. I don't even think they're that far apart. I think all that
not,
stuff
not
is
even. That's what I'm saying. It's less than 5 miles apart, but it's fucking, it's crazy. Actually, you want to talk about conspiracy theories, guys? Have you heard the rumor about who the driver was for the Wonderland gang?
No.
What is this rumor? Was it you? It wasn't you.
I believe if memory, I want to say either Vern Langdon or no, who's the one that's related to Ronda Rousey?
Fucking Vern Langdon that ran the Slammers
shooter.
wrestling gym?
No, there's an old shooter. There was an old shooter, an old wrestler.
Gene LaBelle?
Gene LaBelle. Gene LaBelle was the driver. I swear to God. I can't tell you. Oh, I could tell you where I heard that, but I told him I wouldn't say because he's up there in age and his stories are fascinating. Someone I'm working with right now on something I can't talk about, but that's the KFA bit right now. That Gene LaBelle was the driver for the Wonderland gang. So
holy shit,
incredible.
Pretty crazy, huh? Because he was like one of their muscle friends and stuff like that. But apparently he went, dropped him off. But like he never, he's Gene LaBelle. He's not gonna hang out there all the time.
Busy choking out Steven Seagal years later and shit.
Making him shit his pants.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Seagal, trippy,
Seagal
man.
story.
Yeah, but just kind of going back to the wrestling thing, like I hit a lot of dead ends, man. I hit a lot of dead ends. I ended up transferring to the University of Memphis because I thought wrestlers grew off of trees. Like that was another dead end where like a guy wanted to train me for like $3,000 in a trailer
Memphis?
park. Like, well, I went to the University of Memphis where I was actually a minority. So that was a real learning experience for me as well. A little funny bit was when I was transferring to Memphis, I got your roommate will be this guy, if you want to contact him. And I looked at my roommate notice and his name was Detron. And I had never seen that name before, but like, I'm not going to lie. There was a split second where I was hoping my roommate was a Transformer.
That's amazing.
Let's go play basketball. But I went to Memphis and I didn't go to a lot of classes because Memphis is near University of Memphis. There's a lot of little shopping centers and stuff around there. One of them at the time was like the highest crime rated, like homicidal shopping center in the US or something when I was going to college there. So I went there quite a bit. I got kind of just into this funk, like I was like, fuck, like Memphis was really dry at the time. This was before Memphis Championship Wrestling, but this was after Power Pro Wrestling had closed down. So it was kind of in a real limbo period.
Yeah, you hit it at the exact wrong time because wrestling kind of did grow on trees there at different points in time, just not then.
Not then, not in late 1999. And so I ended up just leaving and getting on a Greyhound and dropped out of college and left. And 12 hours later, I was back in Austin off of like a bus where I just inhaled nothing but farts and all this sweat and all this garbage. And but it was good. It was it was like a humbling thing just to like feel really stripped of what you thought you were going to do and really brought down back to like square one, and so, but oddly enough, what happened was when I got home to Austin, my dad, he's very loving. I'm very fortunate. I have very loving parents. They divorced when I was 8 because they didn't love each other, but they're very loving towards us. But he, he's like, just take whatever time, then, get a job and, get the fuck out. No, he didn't. But he was like, get a job and we'll get you back on your feet and get you back in school locally or something. And I was like, yeah, okay, I just want to kill myself. But then like literally the next day, a friend of mine who's a comedian here in LA, actually, we go way back, but he he called me. He was like, turn on the news. And I turned on the news, and Ivan Putski had opened a wrestling school just in like North Austin, not far from me. So I went, and that's who first really broke me in was Polish Power, Ivan Putski. And then his son, Scott Putski, would come down and like teach me how to dress like a pirate. No, Scott was cool. Scott Putski taught me how to. Scott Putski is probably responsible for maybe half of my career being as long as it has been, because I was a pretty reckless person earlier on. But the thing was, Scott actually taught me how to save my back on taking turnbuckles, and I love taking turnbuckles. Like, you just kill yourself on them, because you can literally get the sound on it and make it seem like the ring moved. You know, that's what they always say, the ring moved a couple inches, like, because I can't think of anything fucking original to say. That's what everyone says. But Scott Putski taught me how to hit the turnbuckles in a way that will save your back. I'm not going to say what it is, but
yeah, you got to keep some trade secrets.
I keep them all, but I credit him to allowing me to have as long as the career as I have had without any serious sustainable like back injuries. Even though I've always had sciatica problems since I wrestled in high school, like usually up a weight class from what I really was weighing, but you know.
But it had to go pretty good, because it wasn't very long after that before you were appearing in TNA, right?
No, your calendar's a little off. No, Putski broke me in. I started in Austin. I started doing a lot of kind of indies, whatever I could do in Texas. There's a match somewhere with Lance Hoyt and I. What does he go by? Lance Hoyt right now in New Japan?
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer. Weird. Let's combine real name and stupid WWE name. Perfect. Genius. Oh, thank you. Good aside. And so he there's a match of somewhere with he and I wrestling outside of like one of the state penitentiaries. Like they put up a ring, like literally with the jail, like the big state jail, like in the background.
That's awesome.
And he fucked me up bad with a razor's edge. He razor's edge to me, basically like he just stepped like a foot out from the corner and sent me, and like I landed in the far other corner. I don't know how I fucking didn't die, but I had the worst bursa sac injury on my lower back. It was basically the size of half a volleyball. If you cut a volleyball in half and put that on your lower back, filled with fluid, seminal fluid, I was fucked. I couldn't sleep on my back. Like I was so fucked. And the reason I mention that is because Rudy Boy Gonzalez, who I had then started working with and under and taking his guidance, because, you know, let's not make any bones about it, he was the head trainer at Shawn Michaels Wrestling School. Shawn had screws and all this hardware on his back, and he would get in the ring and he would do all the technique and all this philosophy and all that stuff. But when it came time to like doing the, okay, let's see it, guys, it was always Rudy, you know, doing all that stuff. And so, you know, I was doing the poor man's Shawn Michaels Wrestling School by learning through Rudy, because I couldn't afford $3,900. You know, $3,900 is a lot of fucking money.
That's still a lot of money.
It's still a lot, you know. So I was, you know, working under Rudy's guidance, and he said, hey, you know, Spanky's available. He just got released and this and this, and let's have you have a match with him. And I unfortunately wasn't able to do the match because I was incapacitated. And so I sent this buddy of mine, and he just fucked him up. Brian fucked him up so bad. It was so funny because my friend's terrible, and he was never really in shape or anything. And so you just like, and Brian has such a short fuse, like the shortest fuse of anyone I've ever known. And like a horrible temper, and he'll probably kill me for saying this if I ever talk to him again. Where he said, you know, when he was in WWE or WWF Memphis territory, he had the Fed or whatever ordered him to go to anger management, or they're going to fire him.
Oh shit!
So he had like company ordered anger management that he had to like go to when he was in Memphis, because him and Reckless would play these big ribs on each other, and sometimes it would get like really out of hand. Reckless Youth, he was awesome. So anyways, Brian was released from Memphis. They did a whole lot of cuts in Memphis, and Brian like kind of gravitated. He went like here and there, and he swung back down through Texas. But anyways, we never had that match. But fast forward to like 2011, 2001, because that's when Brian and I really officially met and hit it off, was in California for Rick Bassman in 2001. This is when 9/11 went down. I showed him the videotape and I was like, hey, you know what? I think you know a friend of mine. Let me show you. We must have watched this match like over and over and over again, just laughing your asses off. Like, he literally kills this guy. There's this one spot where I guess Brian calls an up and over, and the guy stops. I won't say his name just so I won't embarrass him, but the guy stops and starts trying to climb the ropes, like one rope at a time. And Brian's like sitting there waiting, like, what the fuck is this, you know? And he just literally crawls under the dude, picks him up in like cockfighting style, you know, where the guy's his legs are draped here and here, and he's sitting on Brian's shoulders, and Brian grabs his wrists, right? So he's not like trying to balance himself. He can't. His wrists are now down, and he drops him throat first across the top rope, and he goes like, he looked like Gumby. Like, imagine a fat guy looking like Gumby, and he bent, and his head was like first rope, second rope, third rope, floor. And like, dude, we laughed so hard. It's like, what a dick move, right? To laugh at your friend nearly dead. But he and I laughed about it too, actually. But either way, I don't know how I got off subject, but he's just, you know, like, no two journeys are the same, you know, and you can't. You can admire people and you can admire their journey. And, you know, as I was coming up, I read about guys living in their cars and stuff like that. And I've never been above that, you know, and I've done that. But there's just no end to your journey if it's really worth it to you and if you're really obsessed with it, you know. And you know, people make excuses for stuff all the time, but it's like, well, what's it worth it to you? I mean, really, what's it worth it to you? Even now when I go to shows, guys are constantly like, what do I need to do, man? What do I need to do? Like, I'm frustrated here. It's like, well, then fucking move. Like, change it up.
But there had to be times where you felt like the journey was coming to an end for you as well. I mean, you've had ups and downs, right?
I feel like that every day. No.
Yeah, well, you're in a sling. Didn't you break your collarbone right before WrestleMania?
No, sort of, yes. It was on April Fool's. I was in England. This is like a week or two after Lucha wrapped season 4. I went to England, and on my very first night, I separated my shoulder. It was diagnosed in the UK as a fractured clavicle, but they didn't show me any X-rays, and there was a weird ordeal with the A&E there in England. So I don't think I've forgotten about you bastards. Anyways, I hopped a flight back to LA as fast as I could so I could use my trusty Medi-Cal. And here I am, still in a sling like 2 months later. But it's real high grade separation. And I actually start physical rehab on Thursday. I start physio on Thursday. So
no surgery?
As of now, not yet. Even an injection, some steroid injections were referred. They were like, we could do that before surgery. I was like, no, we're not going to do any of that shit. I'm going to do the physio. We're going to be good to go. And that's that.
I've had a few surgeries on my shoulder. It's a long road back.
Yeah, I mean, bust out the 80s inspiration music, you know, because it's like montage after montage of just training.
All of Byron's are from jerking it too hard, though. It wasn't like a cool wrestling injury.
No, it was a hockey injury both times. But you mentioned earlier a car and end of the road, and I'd be remiss if I didn't, if I'm using that word right, if I didn't bring up one of my favorite memories of you in WWE, where
my lighting guys
walking. Where Vince was walking to his car to meet his end of the road. And my favorite part,
I wish that was real.
My favorite part was everyone's so concerned and like everyone's trying to cry, their Oscar moment. And you
worst
have this
acting.
big smile.
Oh, it's so bad. It's the worst. Yeah, that's my favorite part too. Every time someone brings that up, I'm like, you should see all the other faces. Like, that shit is hilarious.
Dude, my favorite one. Okay, I never knew if this was like something that actually happened or not. When you and Kendrick had the mask with the long ass nose.
Yeah.
And then, all right, so you run into the ring, and then Ashley pulls them off your faces, and I could see you visibly say on camera, "Ow, my nose." and I didn't know if you were selling the mask or if she really grabbed your nose.
I was just fucking with her. Yeah. No, I would do that from time to time because she was so, like, she's a sweetheart. She was so just so paranoid all the time because I think she felt deep down that she knew she was kind of an outsider, you know. Not and I only mean that in the sense of like, look, like you're here because you know you're hot and you won a contest, and
Right,
you agreed to do Playboy,
Yeah.
you know. And she was a sweetheart, like she was a great girl, but like, yeah, she was just so paranoid. So it was easy to fuck with her, you know, because like that's anytime. No, but that's, you know, when you're friends and when you like people, like that's usually the easiest way to break the ice. You know, I would think, you know, it's no different than on a film set or something. You know, you might have veteran actors, you know, pull ribs or whatever, just to like be like, hey, you know, like just because when you're at ease, you can obviously do your best work, and so if you're all paranoid and stuff like that, then you're locked up, you know. So I'd always try and just throw a joke or something.
Okay, so you're talking about paranoia, and that brings me to the question that several people have asked me to ask you specifically about the Rabbit Tribe.
Okay.
If the Rabbit Tribe were being influenced by something, would that something be LSD, ecstasy, or weed? No one can figure out what exactly is the influence behind the Rabbit Tribe.
Opium?
Nobody said psilocybin.
That too.
DMT.
Psilocybin.
See, I've said DMT on the show, but I've also said it's fairy magic from the like mystical realm. You know,
I just think it's enthusiasm.
I mean, that's all atmosphere stuff, you know, like that fairy magic stuff. That's all Twilight stuff, man. You know, like this is going back to black sex magic. You know, like that's really where this is all going, and this is really where it all emanates from. Really, if you think about it, because you know, rabbits like to copulate a lot, and
a lot.
You know, that's a real carnal connection.
Is that why you wear the cod piece to kind of put a layer of protection between you and the audience and your opponent?
Well, that's a superb observation, and you're right.
You don't want to put anyone's eye out in the audience, right? Like, you know.
Well, the thing is, I'm gonna try and get a little bit better lighting.
So what's up with the carrots? Is that a metaphor?
Well, there are definitely metaphors in it. I'm actually a huge Lone Wolf and Cub fan, and so there's some. You can use carrots as a weapon, you know, if you keep some shanks in them. But I think, why wouldn't a carrot be a knife to someone in our tribe? You know what I mean? In our tribe, you can pretty much use anything as a weapon. You know what I mean? But if you can avoid violence, then you know it's better to fuck and then kill them.
Now that gives me a good follow-up question here. That is, have you ever considered getting yourself one of those Blackie Lawless from Wasp buzzsaw codpiece deals that just had the blade? Because they're dangerous.
I like the idea. I can't say I know exactly the reference, but I see. The thing was, early on, we had an idea for what we thought the Rabbit Tribe might be.
And I think I may have seen that dark at the tapings before.
Yeah. Let's just say it was, we read the part wrong. And so so I think I was watching too much, you know, I was playing with my battle beasts too much, watching too much Warriors of Virtue. And
I got a kung fu vibe off of it, you know, like
yeah. I was taking a lot of kung fu at the time. I was doing a lot of Wing Chun, and I just thought, you know, like I want to really like do a character that's got like a lot of defense or something. It's just, I don't know. Some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. But nonetheless, they, you know, DJ, he buzzed me. He's like, that's not really what we thought. We were thinking kind of more Alice in Wonderland. And the second he said Alice, like I just like everything started like, oh, thank you. Like that was the one little note I needed, because my head just wasn't there at the time. My head was so engulfed in my training that's where my head was like, be this you know, do these cool Batman moves and stuff. Um, so yeah, once he said the Alice Wonderland part, so my response was, I sent him like 10 pages of attachments of just cod pieces.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, this is a must. And he said, I love it. So then I went through a few ideas and this and this and this, but then it kind of just materialized into what it is. But yeah, the cod piece is not a religion. It's a you know, it's a symbol of kind of nobility. Also, you know, like back, especially like in the Renaissance period, a lot of knights and princes would wear, and kings even to a degree would wear cod pieces because it was a real symbol of nobility. And so there is a lot of nobility steeped through in the rabbit tribe, especially as, I can't say the layers to the carrot because that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does. As the layers of the carrot get peeled off, you will see deeper and deeper that life is just full of metaphors and vegetables and weapons and fucking and death.
Well, we were talking about surrealism. We were passing a couple of videos back and forth. Is that a theme that you enjoy when you're storytelling? I mean, I assume there's a lot of
absolutely
on this.
Yes. We need to have surrealism to kind of refocus the world that we live in. You know, when you think you have everything figured out all the time, like this is so boring, you know, it's so boring, it's so routine, everything becomes so mundane. But when you're kind of steeped in inquiry, you're just kind of wondering and you're questioning everything. I'm not saying in like a cynical way, but when you're just really trying to literally peel the layers off yourself, why not? I mean, you can really, there's no better inventory than self-inventory. Do you know what I mean? And to explore surrealism, which for us really mostly only comes in dreams, I'm not saying it's vital, but it's definitely something that could be useful and healthy. But it tends to gravitate more towards, I think, the arts, just because you don't always have to explain them, and they can impact people differently, and they can have a meaning to you that's a different meaning to someone else, and vice versa. And I think that's honestly what makes it so beautiful, is that surrealism has no end to it, and there's no start and there's no finish. And so, yeah, it's kind of like visually listening to a song that never ends.
Speaking of no start and no finish, we got a little tour backstage earlier in the taping part.
They did. I had school stuff.
Well, we got to see. Well, but you've seen the set now. But we got to see that set that's in the trailer, which I don't know what kind of Escher on crack thing is going on there. It's insane. And you know, we didn't take any pictures or anything because we didn't want to spoil it. I didn't know it was going to be in the trailer, but holy crap, did you lose your mind when you saw that set?
It was already lost. I was flattered, to be honest with you. That's what my initial feeling was, that I was flattered. I thought, holy shit, like they've invested in this. And I was just coming off of a little tour of Peru where I had damaged my neck really bad. Like I had an MRI on Valentine's Day, you know, and we're starting Lucha like a week and a half later. And I jacked my neck up really bad. I had an MRI in Lima and got all sorts of terrible fucking drugs there that I never took, because they gave me these giant syringes, like 5 of them with like rhino needles on them, and some drugs that were like banned from the US since like 2005. And it was funny because Brian Cage was on the same show with me, and he was like, dude, I wouldn't even take those. All right, I wouldn't even use. Like, those are big fucking needles. I'm like, if that's coming from this dude, like I'm tossing these. And but the thing was, they gave me these needles. You know, they were like, here are your painkillers. You know, like take this to the pharmacy, and here are your drugs. And so the buddy who's helping me, he brings me back this stuff, and like, there's no instructions, there's nothing. You know, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, is it commonplace in Peru for you to just like inject yourself? Like, oh, okay, no problem. Like, man, I think this goes in my dick. Man. Like, what do you like? No instructions, like nothing. Like, not even how to like pull. Like, you shouldn't have air in it. Like, nothing. Like, so I tossed this shit at the airport. I threw it away, and I came back and I hadn't seen anything, but they were basically they wanted to know how I was doing, and I said I was fucked up, and they said well, you guys are doing stuff. You know that. I was like, yes.
I hate to interrupt, but I have a question from the chat room.
Yeah.
This guy by the name of Killer Cross said little orange midgets with jetpacks.
That's right, man. Only in the Philippines. Only in the Philippines.
Oh, dude, are we? Oh God, what's his name? Fucking homeboy from the movies. I know you're awesome.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. When you can get a jetpack and your skin color is orange, you've made it. You've made it.
Is it Tuk Tuk or something like that? It's something like that.
I'll try and send you the link. And yeah, there's also an amazing jetpack scene in this Jim Kelly film. God, what's it called? Like,
I wanted to discuss Jim Kelly with you.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah, dude. If you can get your hands on Black Samurai, there's an amazing jetpack scene in that.
Because one of my
there's midgets with whips.
With midgets?
Yeah, midgets. There's but that's separate. But like jetpacks take him to the island where he fights midgets with whips.
I definitely need to see this movie because in my favorite wrestling promo of all time, the Hybrid Dolphins promo.
Oh man, that's yeah.
You're wearing a Black Belt Jones shirt, man.
Yeah, from the Alamo Draft House. I'm a huge Black Belt Jones fan. I'm a huge Jim Kelly fan. Yeah. I had the chance to meet him at I think like a Long Beach Comic Con or something like a few years, like actually a couple years before he passed away. And yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know, man. Something about I really like blaxploitation cinema. There's something in it, I think, that is culturally timeless, and I think that you can really get a real raw feeling for the time period. And to me, blaxploitation cinema in a lot of ways is kind of like, maybe not directly, but it's kind of like, I'm a huge fan of German expressionism as well. So I love early, F.W. Murnau and a lot of early German expressionism. Caligari is one of my absolute favorite films.
Did you go to the LACMA when they had the?
I did not. I was heartbroken, man. Like that. Oh. Yeah, I would have loved to.
It was so uncomfortable being there watching M. They're showing a clip of M.
Oh wow!
Me was this mother and her child. And I was just looking at them, going, "You don't know what this is about."
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's. I haven't seen M. I need to find it. It's not very. It's hard to find. I like it. I like the obscure stuff, but yeah, German expressionism. It's just you're creating, without sounding pretentious, like you're creating art out of a desperate need to be heard. Do you know what I mean? And so that's where I connect. I don't know how to say it. It's just. There's just so much substance, you know what I mean? There's so much substance in blaxploitation cinema, and I know a lot of it's like hokey and funny and stuff like that, but it's just it's such a style, and I just really love it. And like I loved the Michael Jai White film that he did,
Black Dynamite.
Yeah, Black Dynamite. I thought that was a hilarious, like wonderful, appreciative kind of little love letter to blaxploitation. There's another movie called Badass, which I think Mario Van Peebles did, that he's done, which is basically kind of based on his dad, Melvin Van Peebles, who was a huge figurehead of the blaxploitation movement, and so this is all taking all sorts of turns. You guys,
Mario broke into speaking of raw cinema, Mario broke into acting, right? Acting in his dad's movie.
Yeah, he was a kid. Yeah, in his dad's movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't he get some sort of workers' comp situation
through his father?
No, I think it was through the actress he was acting with.
I'm not sure. I do know that he's.
Well,
One of my favorite parts of Jaws 4, The Revenge. Sorry.
Oh man,
Jaws 4.
Just they brought him back to life because
How
the
does he
audience was
get bit
mad.
in half and he's still alive? That just still, I can't understand.
I heard the story behind that was that test audience shit on him dying, so they had to bring him back to life. The studios insisted on it.
He got like bit in half. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it.
And he's just like, "What's up, guys?" At the end, you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I have a funny little story that's not really related, but it kind of is. So when I was back in Austin, one of the first films I ever did extra work, like background artist work for, was Miss Congeniality. And I'm like in the very beginning of that film, they're like interrogating like a Russian nightclub or something, and I walk around or I walk past this, I can't remember. But anyways, so we're filming this in some nightclub in downtown Austin on like 6th Street, and Ernie Hudson's there. And Ernie Hudson's awesome, you know. So he's in Miss Congeniality, and I don't even know if he was in this. I think he was, because it was like a cop bust scene or something, you know. So they like established his character and Benjamin Bratt's character, and so there was a break in shooting, and for some reason I was all ballsy. I just walked up to Ernie Hudson and like sat down next to him, like, which is like a huge like no, right? You would like never do this, like so stupid, right? So I'm sitting there, and I'm a huge fan of just like shit movies, and I'm a huge fan of Casper Van Dien. He's become one of my brother's good friends apparently, so I still need to meet him. I'm a big Casper Van Dien mark. But anyways, he did this movie called Shark Attack, and Ernie Hudson is the villain in this movie called Shark Attack. And at the end of the film, I know you said no spoilers, but sorry, I'm going to spoil this. Ernie Hudson's the villain, and he gets eaten by a shark, right? But it's intercut with like so much stock footage of like sharks that like none of the sharks look the same, right? It's like the worst stock footage job ever. But then you cut to Ernie Hudson getting eaten, and I'm sorry, like I hope this doesn't come off weird or whatever, but his hand was a completely different, like it looked like it was made out of like a weird chocolate. Like his hand looked like it was like an Easter bunny or something. Like did not match. It was awful, right? And like it was one of the funniest gags in this fucking movie. So anyways, fast forward to like to me shooting this fucking Miss Congeniality, like whatever, and I walk up to Ernie Hudson, we're talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know," like I think he had no idea that I was like just some background nobody. He's like, "Oh yeah, you know, like, oh, talking to stuff." I can't remember what happened, but I basically was like, "You know what? I saw this film you did recently. I really liked it." Like, I had to think, like, I have to be sincere with this, because if not, he's gonna know I'm kind of like, and I wasn't trying to shit on him, but I just wanted to see what he would say. I thought, you know, so I go, "I saw this movie you did called Shark Attack." Like, before I could even ask a question, he goes, "Oh yeah, Shark Attack. Yeah, well, you know, we shot that in Puerto Rico, and you know, it was, oh, you know, okay, excuse me, man, sorry." And he just like gets up and just leaves. Like he did not want to talk about Shark Attack, and I just thought, like, fuck, I just blew it, man, with Winston. Like I'll never know what the behind the scenes tidbits on Shark Attack were, and why his hand was a completely off shade color that did not match
what,
him.
though? You sparked something in my mind, and I remember the name of the Filipino midget with the jetpack. His name is Wang Wang.
Wang!
And there's a movie. If you have Amazon Prime streaming, I think it's on there.
About all the Philippines B movies and stuff that they did?
It's got Wild Wild Wang featuring Wang Wang in the Wild West.
I love it. I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sold. If he's anything like Rajnikanth, then I'm sold. Rajnikanth is the Bollywood like action star you've probably seen, also with the midget, who I think does like a Madonna dance or something like that. That's been like a widely streamed video of like a little midget doing like a dance to a jukebox and then stopping. And that's like, he acts with this actor named Rajnikanth, who's probably my favorite Bollywood actor. He's probably the only one I know by name. But he's an action star. But they do a lot of those. Yeah, just midgets and jetpacks, man. That's all I really need in life.
That is really all you need. So, Paul, I have a question. You've worked with some of the best high flyers out there, and in this current rabbit tribe, you've got probably one of the best top rope guys I've ever seen, which is Mala Suerte.
Oh,
Yes,
holy
Because
shit.
when he goes up to the top rope,
Saltador. Oh, but yeah, they're both great
Saltador?
at the top rope.
Oh,
They're
no,
both great
no.
at the top rope. You're talking
Mala
about the corner
Suerte.
spot?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
The
ballsy.
most.
I mean, the audience just stops dead and is just aghast every time, and it is freaking amazing.
He's the sexually frustrated one of the three of us. He's the romantic of the trios.
Yeah, you can read his shirt. He's not. He
Yeah.
wears it on his sleeve, so to speak.
Yeah, he's the one holding the doors open for girls and like trying to, buy their drinks, and like he's a real sucker for that shit. Like girls work him all the time, and it's sad, you know what I mean? Because then like I have to help him hide the bodies and like salt the doors. Usually pretty useless because he's taking a nap or something. But they're good boys. They're good boys.
It's such a shame because he's oozing such machismo that you would think he would get over with the ladies.
He has bad luck, dude. That's what mala suerte means. It's just an unlucky young man.
I know. He I tried to get him to even start doing some different things, and I don't really know where I'm going with that. He's just not good with the ladies. I think
it's his own fault. His parents named him Bad Luck in Spanish when he was born. Yeah, you kind of fuck up your kid.
I mean, I was talking about trying to change his name to Masala Suerte, just because tikka masala is one of my favorite foods, anyways, and I thought like if he had some different, but he's pretty traditional too. He's Roman Catholic as well as his side religion. But we've been trying to talk him out of that, trying to join our other black sex cult. That's another side project as well.
Oh, I love it. So on a serious note, Paul, when you came into Lucha Underground, were you brought in just to be an agent, or were they always planning on doing something on camera with you? Because I know you were agenting before you even did the Rabbit Tribe gig, right?
Yeah, what happened was I was supposed to come in for season 2, and I think Brian Cage probably bad luck charm because he was there when I hurt my neck, and then what happened was I was supposed to debut in season 2, and I did a show down in it wasn't Oceanside, but it was somewhere down there, and I was wrestling Brian Cage, and it was like a Halloween show, and I was gonna lose, I think, quickly, and then like go backstage, and I was gonna change into this set of trunks that I had made that just have PL on the front, but they're basically like Triple H's trunks from when he was like doing my time, because I came out as single PL, basically making fun of him at a Halloween show in England one time, doing the my time thing, and my match was like 80% water spitting and like three pedigrees and like one shitty, like, I don't know. Either way, it was a gag, but I was like, I'm gonna come back out as Triple H again. But then the gag was on me because I did something in the match and like blew out my knee, and the match ended like in like 4 minutes, like the first, and then that was just like the end of it. Like the promoter was furious because he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna pay you." It was a big fucking mess. So, needless to say, I was hurt, and they were like, "Well, fuck, what do we do?" And they actually suggested, "Would you want to do maybe some agent stuff?" And basically, PJ Black took the spot that I was not that I was going to be a part of Worldwide Underground, but that's who came in and replaced me because I was supposed to debut against like Willie Mack, and I think everyone loses in their debuts at Lucha traditionally. So,
good tradition. Good tradition.
Yeah. But anyways, that was a real kind of a blessing in disguise because, to be honest with you, I was not feeling a TV wrestling atmosphere, and I just didn't know what to expect because I didn't know. I just knew that it was just the most different, unique presentation there is. So that was very exciting, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because that gave me a chance to kind of learn everybody as best as I could during that second season. And, I'm sitting here learning like a new skill as well by by getting this agenting producer thing down and sitting in the control room with the headsets on. And
have you done that before?
I hadn't worn a headset like that since I worked at Old Navy. So, and then before that, I did McDonald's drive-through. That was my first job ever at 16. It lasted 2 weeks.
Well, it's got to be kind of interesting too, because you were talking about earlier how, you know, wrestling in the last 10 years is totally different than 10 years before that when you were first starting to come in, and you're seeing a lot of these younger guys now, and you're having to get some of them ready for TV, but they come from a completely different world. Is that kind of blowing your mind?
No, no. What it is you can tell who has. There's two kinds of egos. You know, you have healthy ego and you have a negative, unhealthy ego. And we all have an ego. You have to have an ego to get out of bed, in my opinion. But the thing is, egos get a negative connotation. Everyone thinks like, oh, ego, that's a bad word, you know. But we all have them. You should have one. You know, there's it's like if you have pride in anything that you do, then there's an ego involved there, and that's not a bad thing. It just gets misconstrued that way. So the reason I bring that up is because this past season, so I've been agenting more for Lucha Underground than I have being a wrestler on screen, right? So 3 seasons now compared to 2 seasons being an on-camera talent. And so you learn people, you learn how to approach them, you learn what isn't really probably going to fly with them, you learn what they're probably going to be excited about, or what you start to learn these ins and outs and stuff like that, and you start to learn how to make your job more efficient, because when you're back there, you know, every little goddamn fucking detail isn't so much a necessity. So you find out what become the the points that are really emphasized, and it just helps you structure things more and more. So you develop a level of trust as well, because, you know, if you have any kind of hidden agenda or anything, like, it's not the position that you should be in. The position is mentally neutral in the sense that you really want the show to be as kick-ass and as great as it can be, with everyone involved winning. So no matter who gets their hand raised at the end, everyone wins, because it was a kick-ass match and it made sense and it got over the points that we needed to get over. And, you know, and hopefully we had some gifts in there by getting some camera angles that we didn't think about, or this or that, you know. So it's the most collaborative job that I've ever had, as far as just everyone really having the same goal in mind. But with that said, you do have a few every now and then where the negative, kind of unhealthy, hey, this should be about me, can seep into it. And that's because there was such a long layover, or like a layoff, that guys go and they make their living in other promotions and independents and in other countries. And that's always a risk, because you never know what they're going to be being fed over in these other parts, and how that might affect an immature mindset, or an inexperienced mindset, or a misled mindset. You know, so the gap between 3 and 4, you know, there were some people that just weren't even back. Like, I don't even know if I'll see them again. And then there were a lot of new people who I thought I had an idea about that completely surprised me, for the better. You know, but to say that, you know, you're not dealing with egos, and so one of my favorite books as a kid was like The Man Who Wears Many Hats, or what was that? The Hat Peddler. Remember that? And he's like sitting under a tree and he's wearing like 30 hats. Because I take pride on being able to put a lot of stuff on my plate. You know, I like to think that I'm responsible when it comes to stuff that I care about. And I really care about, you know, putting forth an outstanding television product. I take a lot of pride in making everyone feel as valuable as they can possibly feel, because for anyone to feel shunned, or for anyone to feel that it's not about them, it's a shitty feeling, and it's a very common feeling in wrestling, especially when things are mismanaged, and egos are fragile as fuck, man. You know, like especially with certain individuals, like you have to think like, okay, does this person feel like their back is against the wall and everyone's attacking them all the time? Like, probably. So I have to approach this completely differently, you know. And you know, I'd like to think that I have everyone's trust and everyone likes the work that I do. Or they probably would have replaced me by now. You know, who knows?
Well, do you find it difficult at all to combine the Lucha Libre style with like American indie wrestling? Because I mean, that's primarily what you've got to work with in the locker room, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't find it difficult because whereas 98% of the locker room prides themselves on like really wanting to show how amazing the shit that they can do is. I'm kind of the opposite, where I've kind of really taken a lot of pride in. I've always taken pride in my selling, but it's like I can get myself over without having to do a bunch of insane stuff that I probably can't even do anymore. But for me, I get off on challenging myself to get either specific things over or different things over. And so, like an actor, you're going to make choices and get committed to them. Once I have a choice or like an idea in my head and I get really hungry about it, like I've made the choice, like I'm just either going to go with it. And usually I like to think that I'm pretty right. Not that I'm like, well, I know what the audience wants. But the codpiece thing, like, I mean, I would like to think that 99% of what you see on TV has come out of my mouth, as it pertains to what we're doing, or came out of a text that I sent very late at night, or an email, or something along those lines. So you will see my love for Caligari. That's probably the only thing that I'll say.
Well, is it easier to work in this new facility too? I know you guys have a nice practice area in the back, and the setup of the new temple was actually pretty good for TV, right?
Yeah, the locker room's condensed. Everything's it's like it's just everything's a one-stop shop. You know what I mean? Whereas everything was like that also at the other place, and the advantage the other place had for us was parking, because at this place, if you weren't there to get street parking, then you had to park at a garage and take a shuttle over and stuff. And I don't like doing that kind of stuff. So that was the only other real advantage to the other spot. But as in terms of this place, you know, like they had showers, we had a practice ring, everything's in walking distance, catering, production offices. We filmed everything there as far as like the set pieces. That was another thing, like the set pieces and all that kind of stuff was all filmed there. So, I didn't have any complaints about it. I really liked it. I don't know that I don't know what the status is on it, you know, to be honest with you. There's rumors
I don't know that anyone does. Like I've heard the rumors all the way up the chain of command and all the way back down it. And anyone who's asking, there's no answers, man. It could go any way for another season. It could be back there. It could be somewhere else. God only knows.
Awesome. I have a question. As an actor, when you as speaking of all the sets and how you had this elaborate set built for you at the new West Temple, as an actor, did you see, or were you pitched with that extra potential for the vignettes, for the more cinematic portion of Lucha Underground when you were joining? Did you know there was going to be that much of that side of things, or were you excited about that?
Super excited. I had no idea it was going to be. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I was extremely flattered when I saw that piece that's in the trailer, because I thought, okay, well, that's clearly for us, you know. And when you see that there's an investment involved, and so that's kind of what tied me back to that neck injury was, you know, I didn't know the magnitude that we would be involved in this season, and I can't tell you what that magnitude is, but it is much more than the previous season, and you will venture into the rabbit hole with us. So it is a flattering thing to know that you're considered an important piece. But that's the thing, is that Lucha does a great job of making every character feel a vital part of of the whole thing. We're all players on this grand game board, and not one player is more important than the other. Obviously some are featured more than others in this and that, but I always use Vinny Massaro as a great example, because even when he shows up, it's a great moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a funny moment, and it's something that you remember. And so, he may not win a match or whatever, but he still gets something over, or something is still, so that's the key, is how can everybody win, regardless of wins or losses or championships or stuff like that, because that's all just dressing.
We love Vinny on this show, by the way. He was our very first guest ever.
He's great. He's great. Yeah. He's one of my favorite people, just period. And you'll see a lot with everybody. I don't think there's one character that comes to mind where there isn't something completely wow, peeled away about them, where you're just kind of like, whoa, didn't see that coming with this character, or like, wow, they're investing in this person, or like this. That's pretty much the case for everyone that's on the show. So,
well, and that's one of the things too that I was kind of hoping and even talking to some talent about during the long hiatus, of like, just knowing that when you do come back, you're going to get over some no matter what. Like, DJ hasn't really let anyone down yet. Everyone gets that moment at some point in time, whether it be all season long or not, is not everyone's going to be the star of every episode, but you're probably going to get 2 or 3 spots, big spots,
Yeah, it's true. And just if someone, I'll probably just you can never know who might get killed, you just never know.
Well, yes, which is, the other crazy, weird, exciting part about this whole endeavor, is that we're living in this sci-fi, grindhouse cinema world where people die and crazy things happen that you would not normally expect.
Yeah, pour one out for Mr. Cisco, man.
Yeah, I didn't run with his gang. I don't know. He's more of an OC guy.
Well, look, Paul, if they ever kill you off, we really hope that you will leave us the cod piece in your will.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's in my contract that the only way my character can be killed off is if I perform Hirakiri. So I'd have to cut out my own innards and disembowel myself. But yeah, the cod piece. Actually, do y'all want to see something cool before? I'm gonna have to wrap up here in a second, but let me see if I can show you guys something cool. It's gonna get dark for a second, maybe lighting wise. I live in Freddy's boiler room. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So sometimes I'll do these shows for Hood Slam, and here's a mega.
Piece. Hell yeah!
Yeah, this one's glow in the dark. Yeah, glow in the dark. Fresh pearls from the Pacific Ocean. No, these are all. So this is one of my mom. I think I'm gonna start getting into the cod piece manufacturing business. I need to find a way to make
for sure
cod merch. Yeah, like something.
The PL cod merch.
Yeah.
If the Young Bucks can sell shoes, you can sell cod pieces. This is
Yeah, it's true. The other influence that really, for me, for the cod piece, I'll leave you guys with, was Crispin Glover, another one of my real favorite actors and performers and artists. He did a remake of The Wizard of Gore, maybe 2007 or something. I can't remember. And he plays this crazy magician, and and he's got this amazing cod piece in this movie. I recommend it if you're a fan of bizarre, gory horror films. The Wizard of Gore. Yeah.
That would definitely be this podcast, especially.
We talk about Crispin a lot. I'm a big Friday the 13th Part 4 fan.
Oh,
Peter says he's a dead fuck.
Great. What a great dance, man. Oh, yeah. What did he say that? What is a dead fuck?
Am I a dead fuck?
Yes. Where's the corkscrew? I've met him a few times. Actually, I'll leave you with another little tidbit before I run off. I have to be somewhere at 9 in 4 minutes, so I'm sorry. Back in the day when I was dating or having relationship stuff with Ashley way back, she had moved to Austin, and I didn't want to like live with her. Like it's not. Anyways. So I was like, you should check out these apartments that are on the other side of the city, and she did. But anyways, as that relationship started to kind of fizzle, and like it was just, I don't know, it just wasn't working out. But still very, very good friends and this and that. Like I always care about her. She's a wonderful, wonderful girl. It was one of those. It was like at that point where you're kind of like okay with suggesting who they should go out with. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that kind of part of that relationship, you're kind of like, hey, there's your next boyfriend right there. Like, hey, what about that guy? Like, just kind of joking, whatever. So, anyways, we went to Crispin Glover had done speaking at the Draft House where he was showing his experimental films, like What Is It? And It's It, or so, I can't remember what the other one was called, but he had these experimental films that he made where basically Fairuza Balk voiced a snail. And she was the only actress involved who didn't have Down syndrome. So all his actors are actors with Down syndrome. And this wasn't an exploitive film. It's very much an avant-garde piece, and very surreal. It's incredible. So we watched it and we saw the film, and he did a speaking afterwards, and he talked about how he does like Alice in Wonderland, all these big studio pictures, so that he can make money to fuel these passion projects of his. Very inspiring human being, in my opinion. And anyways, we spoke a little bit afterwards. I talked to him about Freaks, which is another one of my favorite films.
One of us.
Absolutely love Freaks. Todd Browning's a genius. So anyways, long story short, the next morning she was flying off somewhere, and she calls and she's like, hey, that guy from last night, not that guy, but she's like, I think, Crispin Glover, that guy, he was here at my gate, because she was flying to LA or something. Like, oh, well, go talk to him, I'm like, go talk to him. Like, tell him she's like, what do I say? Like, oh, just tell him you like the show, and like, I don't know, just tell him what you thought about it. And like, tell him what it made you feel. And So long story short, she went, she told me, next thing I knew, like, they're dating. And I was like, you should go out with him. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be an awesome boyfriend. Like, you should go out with him. And so I think she I don't know, was it when you don't, she upgraded from me to Crispin Glover. And then we were in England doing a tour, and we were at the O2 Arena in London, and she wasn't on the tour, but she was passing through London with Crispin on their way to Prague to go to his castle. And so we're in London at the O2 Arena backstage at like a house show on this like tour. And he's backstage with this beard, and everyone's like, oh my God, McFly and all this shit. I'm like, these fucking disrespectful, stupid wrestlers. They don't appreciate this guy. They all think he's like McFly and stuff. And I'm trying to talk to him about all these cool like projects, not projects, but like, I'm talking about Freaks and like, stuff like that. And, he's really into like taboo stuff. And so it was just really bizarre. But then like literally 2 weeks later, she calls me like freaking out. She's like, I can't take this guy anymore. Like, he's crazy. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, it's just tell me stuff like that just made me like love him more, So, okay. I've talked enough.
Thank you so much for
joining us. We should do this again, though. We should do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
I'll keep hangouts on here for a little longer.
Yeah, sometime
we have a 100 real quick. We have a 100 episode
100th
coming
episode.
up.
I'd love to make a cameo.
Yeah, Justin was asking me to try and get some people to come on. So since
I would be honored.
Here,
yeah.
Oh,
that'd be great.
Please
And hopefully it'll
me.
be after the season starts a little bit too, so we can talk a little bit more about some things that we can't talk about yet.
Right. Yeah. We'll look into the light together.
There's so much blood to talk about.
Oh, so blood's good.
Blood is good.
That's right. That's like that part in that Faith No More song when he says your menstruating heart. What was it? Now is
it's not strong enough for two. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. My dad used to be so grossed out. He's like, "How can you like that?" I'm like, "It's awesome," you know. It's like, yeah, midlife crisis. That's what this.
Midlife
crisis.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us, everybody. You can follow Paul at London Foo on Twitter, so you can keep up with
Instagram. That's right. Those are the only two. No Facebook ever. I've never had one.
Yeah, you don't need one, man.
So I'm not friend requesting you for a reason. Thanks you everyone in the chat room, and I guess the two people that are still left in the chat room.
Oh no, Cross is still in there, and about 20 other people at least.
Yeah, sweet.
Awesome. I'll try and find some Pizzagate stuff to send him, so he'll get off. There it is, right there. That was it.
Oh, real quick, Cross just mentioned Crispin Glover on David Letterman was his favorite. Yeah, that was an iconic moment.
You know, and the thing was, he was actually playing a character to get over a movie that he was doing. So a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, he was on acid. And he was like fucked up." Like he was totally working everybody. I'm just thinking, like, what if such a Kaufman-esque thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He got banned for doing that, but then Joaquin Phoenix.
But then he went back on later, right? And he was like, that was Marvin Farr, Robert Farr. I can't remember what his name is, the character, but it was for a film he did. I didn't see it, but yeah, good. I love it, man. He's amazing in everything I've seen him in. And his dad was in Warlock, the Armageddon, I believe.
Oh shit.
I can't remember his dad, but if you see him and his dad next to each other, it's chilling how much they look alike and sound alike.
I need to watch Warlock the Armageddon again. I was just playing the Super.
Yeah, the one with the young kid and the girlfriend. That one. I think
that's Armageddon, where they got to get the jewels and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Crispin Glover's dad plays the priest at the end who like helps the process. Yeah, that's his dad. Wow. Because I was watching it again recently, I was like, "Wait, Bruce Glover." It's like something Glover. I can't remember. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, and then you hear him talking, you see his face, and he's like, "Oh!" Like, yeah.
Did you know they made a Super Nintendo game of Warlock the Armageddon?
What? I think I saw that as a thing, but I didn't know that it was real. But that sounds awesome.
Yeah. I played. I emulated it and played it because I saw an ad in a comic book for the game. Like I'm reading some old '90s comic book, and I'm like, "Holy shit! I need to play this. The game's terrible." Horrible.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. It's got to be better than the Friday the 13th game, which is like just impossible. You die all the time.
Yeah, the new one's pretty dope though. The new one's good.
I heard. That's all too many buttons for me, man. That's I like my quarters and my WrestleMania wrestling challenge.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys later, man. We'll do this again, all right, on the 100th show. Byron, let me know.
I will. Thank you, Paul, for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Dude, that was dope. That was awesome. Holy shit.
Hey, did you guys hear about this little thing with WWE going to Fox for SmackDown?
Hey,
SmackDown's the new A show.
Dude, I have cooler shit to talk about. You want to talk about WWE right now?
Well, I want to talk about the TV side of it.
You want to talk about WWE right now?
Okay, I do want to do that too, but I'm going to talk about WWE first because I already brought it up, and then I'll let you do your thing.
Go ahead. I need to get a little drink of water. I'm a little.
All right, get some water. So this is crazy to me. So it started with the UFC though, which was the weird part about it. And people don't get that a big part of this puzzle is UFC because
which deal was coming up first?
They're both coming up around the same time. I mean, but the UFC deal was a big issue. Like they haven't been doing as good this year as they did the year they got sold. And all of a sudden their TV rights are coming up. They haven't gotten Conor McGregor to fight again. They lost Ronda Rousey, obviously. GSP hasn't really fought again since his one-off there. They haven't gotten Nate Diaz back. They haven't, like, a lot of stuff hasn't gone quite the way they expected. But some stuff has gone okay. Oh, and John Jones has obviously been an issue still.
Wait. Are we talking UFC issues? Did you talk about
no, because
yet?
It's all intertwined, and we're gonna get to that too. Yeah, what's his deal? He got arrested today, didn't he?
Yeah, for alleged domestic violence, including strangulation. So it's a felony. And
which Diaz was this?
Nick.
This is Big Brother.
Big Brother.
Right, and they haven't gotten him or Nate back on a card, so it was really weird, and everyone was speculating like, shit. Well, if UFC's deal comes up now with Fox, like, is Fox gonna take them back at this big number that obviously they want after William Morris Endeavor came in and bought UFC for $4.4 billion or whatever it was, 4.2 billion. So they got to make money back on this new TV deal. And I just don't think Fox was really saying anything big. Now, what UFC did, though, is the ESPN thing wasn't originally part of their new TV deal. It was their side deal where they said basically, hey, we're going to give you 15 shows for ESPN Plus. And I don't know where those shows were going to come from. I'm guessing it would have been their Fight Pass shows and some of their other ones that weren't a part of their big Fox contract, because that TV deal still hasn't been negotiated or whatever. Then it's announced that, I think after that happened, then Fox was like, well, fuck. Even if we put eggs back into the UFC basket, we're going to be sharing them now with ESPN. Fuck that. So they took a look around at what could bring in new eyeballs, I think, and they saw that WWE SmackDown was a possibility, and they went for it. And they went for it at a big, big, dumb, crazy number.
Dumb, crazy, because they're not getting. If they were getting like late 90s ratings, I could see this amount of money.
But live sports is a different thing now, because the ad revenues you can get from live sports are not commensurate with the numbers anymore.
Because
the numbers don't matter.
Watch live now.
It's the only thing where people actually watch commercials.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many people you get at all. It's the fact that you get anyone to watch your damn commercial anymore. And live sports is one of the few things that can do that. Anything that has a live first-time viewing. I mean, even the award shows are getting big numbers for ads now that some of these other shows can't get. You got to have appointment viewing where people want to see it. Walking Dead's doing great because people actually, even though the numbers are way down, people are still watching it live, And so any programming that can do that, like WWE or UFC or, any sporting event, it is good business to a certain extent now for networks. So Fox did this big deal. They're going to grab SmackDown. They're going to put it on Friday nights. I'm assuming it's still going to be live, though they're going to tape delay, I've heard, for the West Coast, which makes sense. I mean, it's that way now on USA. So I don't understand. I don't see. There was a lot of hubbub about, well, if they're paying for live sports, why would they do a 3-hour tape delay for the West Coast? Because, motherfucker, that's the way it already is.
The only show that didn't do it was Nitro in the beginning, which was dope, because we used to be able to go home from school and watch wrestling right away and see.
But then they would still replay it at the East Coast time as well.
Yeah. No, I love that, because I could go home, watch Nitro, then watch Raw, and then if like Sting came out and DDT'd Bischoff, you could just turn over at the main event, watch it a second time.
Yeah, it sucked.
The boys liked it because they could go to the bar after the show and watch themselves wrestle in a bar.
I was in Florida at the height of the Monday Night Wars, so I would watch all of Nitro live, and then I would watch WWE off a tape, like right after it. Though, I mean, it was recording on the VCR the whole time, and usually I was recording both shows on 2 different VCRs. It was so sad. Anyway, so this is big stuff, though, man. Like, people listen to us because we tend to have the inside goods on how TV deals work, especially with Lucha Underground. And I'll talk more about this in the weeks to come, but this is a big deal for everyone. So after Fox picks up SmackDown, what then happens is ESPN doubles down on UFC, and now they've purchased 30 events, which is pretty much the whole calendar year almost. I mean, you figure
it's like every 2 weeks. Yeah.
So it feels like ESPN is going to be the new home of UFC. The real question is, what happens with Fight Pass. If ESPN Plus is this over-the-top service that's running UFC fights, is there any room left to have even one fight on Fight Pass? A lot of people have said that ESPN Plus might do a deal where for $5 more from the $5 you pay for ESPN Plus, that you would get Fight Pass, which is the same price Fight Pass is right now. It's $10 a month. But it's already getting to the point with Fight Pass where you're basically just paying for the library. And for me, that's great because I love to go back and watch old fights. I would spend, back in the day, I would be spending $20 a month on different UFC DVDs. So $10 a month to be able to access the library is no big whoop to me. But
yeah, it's why I subscribe to the network.
But yeah, same thing with WWE Network is like, if you like that, but WWE Network is giving you a lot of value because you're getting the pay-per-views for that price too.
Right,
UFC ain't doing that.
No, there's no way in fuck they're gonna do that.
And they're devaluing it even more by basically putting a bunch of that on ESPN Plus now. So they do have to figure out something for Fight Pass. I think that's the real interesting thing to see. But it looks like, Fox is going to be the home for SmackDown. Now the real question is, will Raw make the jump off of USA, which is also a Universal company, onto big NBC or a bigger property than USA? I could see that happening. I could see network NBC at this point wanting to try wrestling on network television. The product is PG enough right now. It's not that edgy shit that was going on in the early 2000s, and the Attitude Era is gone. And they need that live number, even if it's only in a 4 or 3 or 4. That works for them still. That's still huge if they can get that on network television and keep it there 52 weeks a year with that ad money. And you could literally have WWE on NBC on Monday and on Fox on Friday night, which would be crazy.
So we have, with the one company, I mean, beforehand, it would be like Viacom buys the rights and then they put WWE stuff on all their channels. But now we have, so we have Raw and SmackDown, which are fake competing wrestling shows. Now they will end up competing wrestling shows on different networks, and Raw is going to have to get moved to a network just to be able. Sorry, I don't know. Hey Alexa, shut up. Sorry. So
don't talk to Alexa Bliss like that. She was nice enough to stay with you for the night.
Yeah, you're just pushing her back into Braun's arms.
I call it, computer, say something.
Hey, I got to throw a shout out to Zeus and the boys over at Markout Mania.
Zeus just left. He just left the chat. So fuck Zeus. Sorry, bro.
But basically,
whatever. Everyone listening, your Saturday morning should be filled with Markout Mania.
Markout Mania. So basically, a couple things happened. One, SmackDown happened just to have been bought at an all-time high, and it's moved to a network, and that's now forcing Raw supposed to be a bigger show than SmackDown. So whoever owns Raw has to treat SmackDown at least on par. They have to put Raw on network.
Right. But see, here's the crazy thing. The real crazy thing is, how are talent contracts going to work? Are talent contracts still just WWE contracts and they can put whoever they want on the shows? Because if you look at SmackDown right now and the last shakeup, I think they purposely stacked SmackDown right now to get this deal.
Yeah.
And I don't like to watch SmackDown. I would rather just watch the flagship show. I would rather Raw be the flagship show.
Everyone good is on SmackDown.
But that's the whole point. They keep doing that to me to the point where SmackDown is the better show. It doesn't fit into my life or schedule as easily.
Yeah. Like everyone's always used to Monday night at this point.
I'm sorry you love Dolph Ziggler so much that you just have to watch fucking Raw, Justin. I'm sorry.
It's a Cleveland thing. But the question is NBC going to say, put John Cena on our show and not on our show?
They're going to be like, we want Brock, we want Cena, we want Rousey. Then Raw's going to be the B show, and it's going to be fucking weird.
An actual brand. When two things,
or you just end the roster split. You just end the roster split completely, which is what I actually see happening. Is they just throw it away again. Yeah,
that could happen. I don't know. I don't know what kind of control they maintain. But here's the other thing about this: I don't think Vince cares about those answers. I think Vince is going to get out. I think Vince is going to sell his share, and leave this decision to the rest of the board. Maybe even Linda stays. You know, Linda, Steph, Shane, and
I think if Vince goes, that Linda goes too. They're old, man. They need their time off. They've been doing this shit.
I don't know if they'll go at the same time. I think Vince will leave and go do his XFL thing and cash in his into the stock and get out and have a nice little cash influx to try some other stuff. But I think the rest of the family will stick around for brand security, and if they do leave, they'll leave one by one. I don't think there'll be a mass exodus because they'll be doing themselves a disservice. And I think Hunter and Stephanie, obviously Paul, I should say, the other PL, should stick around corporate-wise the longest if they're smart, because I think they can command high salaries. They can do the Dana White thing. What is that?
If they're not going to, then, you know...
celebrities.
I love it.
Back to the drawing board.
Anyway, I think I kind of agree with you as well, because I think there's been a lot more strategy involved than there is value added to the brand, and I think that the sell price is going to be a lot more than what
Booby baby. That's what I'm talking about.
It's going to be worth. So why not sell high and then get out, run your football league? Because it's going to be weird having Raw and SmackDown on network TV.
Casey, you have all the toys. You've got
caramel titties.
Where did you get that?
Oh, that's the something to wrestle with generator that this guy made. It's stgstw.com. www.stgstw.com. So that was Bruce Pritchard doing Vince McMahon. That wasn't Vince McMahon.
No, really.
But he made like a pretty extensive soundboard. It's kind of amazing.
Well, you've got some other new toys sitting over there besides that. What else did you get today? What do you got?
Oh, and where did you get them?
Okay, so from luchashop.com, who I think might still have the last box in existence right now. It's been so long since I've been on the show, I haven't been able to show you the Lucha Libre Legends of Lucha Libre Muscles licensed by Mass Republic. Chances are they're going to redo them in more colors and re-release them. But right now, these are kind of hard to get, and I'm going to open them on the show like a dumbass and ruin their value. I actually have other ones packaged. Don't worry. I'm not a mark, but I am a mark.
What would Disco Inferno say about you opening toys and playing with them on the air?
Hold on, you're not a mark, but you have a set to open and a set to not open.
I'm just an enterprising businessman. Okay, so this set here, this is going to be... This is the set with Conan.
Are you going to open both of them or just one?
I'm going to open both of them. Conan, Solar, and Super Astro are in this set here. And what's cool is they actually have completely done the original muscle packaging. Instead of Muscle Man here, you get Solar jumping. The other pack, they made it Blue Demon. So it actually has the art of the guy that's in there. And so... You know how long I've had these and I've like not opened them because I wanted to do it on the show? Ooh, they feel exactly like the original muscle figures. Okay, so this one here is Solar.
Are you going to show the package opening on camera?
I just did, didn't I?
Are we going to take your word for it?
Okay, so this is Solar that if you listen to our episode where I did my top 10 favorite luchadors, he's one of my top 5 favorite Technicos because he does cool submission moves. I like him. He's going to get his own 3 3/4 inch kind of like Star Wars style figure pretty soon with Mass Republic. They're doing that too. This right here is Conan, and it's the masked version of Conan. So this is when he was Conan El Barbero. Yes, Conan the Barbarian in Spanish, my favorite movie of all time. One of my favorite luchadors of all time too. Odole. Okay, and then this is Super Astro with a dope fucking Warlock collar, but you know, Warlock means Oathbreaker, so that's bad. That's a conversation we had in the chat. And he also makes giant sandwiches. Look up Super Astro sandwich on Google image search. You'll thank me later. Okay, set number 2. As my camera see, like I thought my camera froze on Justin eating, but he's like sucking on a cookie seductively or something. Here, this is the Blue Demon set. That
they're Triscuits. They're delicious. I made some cream cheese and olives to go with the Triscuits, but I ate it all already.
I'll make you some cream cheese.
I have.
How did you make cream cheese?
left.
Are you a doctor?
Proctologist.
Okay, here is Tien Nieblas, also known as Tiny Balls, also known as the Wise Giant. It's kind of hard to tell when they're not in color, but that's how muscles roll, baby. This here is Blue Demon. Look at that. He gets a sick cape, little detail on his face. My webcam sucks. And Juicy, baby. Here's Hoobie Juice. And
stop letting the juice is loose. It's too close to the camera.
The juice is loose, and he's like, "Give me them titties, girl." Yeah.
He looks like a werewolf there.
He does. He kind of looks like the Wolfman.
Well, that's his Legends. His Legends thing. That's not like Hoovie from today.
He looks like a werewolf today too.
Dude, no. It's just Hoovie, bro. It's just Hoovie.
Hoovie's a pretty man, Byron. You're jealous.
Yeah, he is a very pretty man. So there's like 6 of these dudes. They're the exact size of the original muscle toys. The plastic feels the same. And also some muscle-related news for all you people. They're going to be getting some New Japan ones as exclusives in the new Fire Pro game if you buy the special edition. And those aren't by Super 7. Those are going to be by the Japanese company. So over there are erasers. So you can have your own Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Naito.
Whoa. Are you saying that I can stick my pencil in Kenny Omega's butt?
You could, but I mean, it's not built for that. Like, you'd have to dig. But like,
wait. So you're saying I can dig in Kenny Omega's butt with my pencil?
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't even have to join the DDT roster for it. But awesome. You have to get the special edition for Fire Pro. And since those are actually considered the line that Muscle came from when we brought them over here, those are still erasers because like we got hard plastic so kids would play with them. Over in Japan, they were erasers. You could actually erase pencils and shit. So that's what those are going to be.
Destroy your toy and have to go buy another one.
Exactly, which is smart business, and I appreciate it.
And you dig it.
So go.
That was for Jay.
Yeah, but I had to throw in a Booker T in there, even though it was a Warriors.
I'm surprised nobody in the chat room noticed that I was wearing glasses today. For
actually,
the first time
Rebecca said that you look very good in your glasses, Justin.
Oh.
I just didn't want to interrupt.
It's funny because the glasses are great for seeing everything up to the monitor, but everything else in the room, but beyond that, I can't see it all with the glasses on.
It's cool, dude. You just need to see the details of my balls when we get off the air. That's all you got to see.
Alrighty then.
Oh.
When me and Byron show you some pink like every week.
Oh, are you guys sad that PUG is leaving the place a couple blocks away?
Dude. I hate that building. Fuck that place.
I only went to one show. I think it's awesome, but I also think that legacy is awesome as is. And
Byron, you went to 3 shows.
Oh, I went to 3 shows. I went to one show that was 3 nights. It was incredible. And I think it's awesome, but I also think it's time for that. Like, they're going to have a whole new chapter at the other place. I think it'll be also just as cool.
I hope so. I like them. The idea of them being able to get more people in, that's cool.
It's weird to me because PWG is going to be in a different place next month. Maverick, Casey never even got to come to the Moose Lodge for all the great Maverick shows because it was right when his work class schedule was killing him. But Maverick is moving.
Running? Are they running at the Legion Hall?
No, Maverick is running in Glendale now or something, right?
Yeah. No, on Magnolia.
Oh no, that somebody was PWG had run in the past over by Fry's, dude. In that kind of Legion Hall area where there's like the cannon set up and all that.
Oh, that's rad.
That side street that we would park on and then leave and go to Lucha?
No, I don't.
Oh, because you'd always meet us there.
I know. I don't want other people to know about it.
Why?
Justin,
We're never
are you
having to do that
excited?
again with the new setup at Lucha Underground.
Right, exactly. But
you
yeah,
excited? Oh,
what's up? Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
just reading the chat room.
What happened?
Oh, you're making me. I don't have a lot
Got
of
my ticks for Glendale. That's awesome.
Oh, and Angie Hernandez says he does look nice in glasses. I don't even know if that's a real person. I feel like Justin's using the chat just to say that he looks cool in glasses.
I think Justin saw what I was making noise about.
What? And I'm on the Maverick Pro page looking at Heatwave stuff. I'm trying to find it's at CML Studios on Mira Loma in Glendale. Or what are you looking at?
Oh yeah, I saw that already, Byron. I just didn't want to interrupt.
Are you excited that Justin Credible is going to be at Math Pro?
That's a tough one for me to answer, Byron. Here's my thought on the whole thing, and I love Maverick Pro. My issue with this card, as many of you may or may not know, they're bringing in a lot of ECW legends. Though Tommy Dreamer had to cancel.
You do fingers when you said legends? I was looking away from the screen.
I did.
Oh, you're a dick, dude.
I've seen most of these guys perform live, and I saw most of them perform live, I don't know, 20 years ago. And there was a point in time where, as much as Justin Credible got heat from a lot of the real ECW fans, where he was actually credible, where he was, he was worth watching. He wasn't the best thing ever. It's 20 years later, guys. It's 2018.
I've got the answer to it. Justin.
He started his run in 1998.
He just needs to change his name to Justin Continent, and then we don't have to worry about any Depends he's wearing.
Here's the thing. I have a ticket to this show.
That shit was funny. Fuck you guys.
No,
you just said that like you weren't going to go.
I'm supposed to no-sell those kind of jokes, though. Look, and by the way, Mass Max and Dick Jokes won. So I don't know if we're gonna do a 100th episode shirt or not, or if we're gonna do both. But I'm going to honor the poll.
What we do is
create a Masks, Mats, and Dick Jokes T-shirt sometime next week.
Okay, first of all, I kind of stacked the thing a little bit by asking people to vote that may not even buy a shirt. But
I did too.
I have the perfect
tried to stack it
compromise.
The other way, so I can't.
I have the compromise, Justin. We make the 100 a dick and balls, and then everyone's happy.
No.
Right?
Why
Chat
don't we
room?
make the 100 because the episode, and then why don't we make the dick jokes after that?
All right, we'll see. So but we're definitely doing. Those are the two winners. We'll reissue Jim Skay sometime later in the year.
No, we won't. It looks. Oh my god, do I need
just
to show
yours
them?
looks bad. Mine looks great because I got it on the black V-neck. If you get it on the black, thinner quality shirts, they look great. So, but when I reissue it,
V-necks, dude, I'm not built like you and Byron. I can't.
No. But there's also the athletic fit version too. So basically, I know what the problem is now. When I reissue it, I'm only going to give the shirt options where the logo works.
I also want to bring up in a chat room that there was a strong response to
my Justin Continent joke. I appreciate it, Paul. Thank you.
Pedos. We're hard against pedos, and there have been multiple requests, including one right now, for a shirt.
Byron, why are you hard against pedos?
No, the shirt says hard on pedos.
Hard against pedos.
Hard on pedos. Coffee mugs. Typically, whenever we release a shirt, you can get a coffee mug version of whatever the logo is.
I have a Where is Casey coffee mug.
There's a Where's Casey one. There's this one.
I have that one too. Yeah.
I have this one in white also. Anyway, so Maverick Pro. Let me finish this thing about everyone who listens to this show ever knows that I have a little bit of a soft spot for ECW.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my nostalgia for ECW doesn't run deep into necessarily seeing those guys now today. Like, I respect them, and if they're working, I want to support them. But
I guess we're never getting Justin Credible on the fucking show. There goes my dream guest.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that I'm excited about seeing guys that are 8 years older than me get in the ring and tear it up. like maybe one or two of them, but this show has a lot of them. The things I'm excited about that are on this show is Taya Valkyrie is coming in. Taya's coming in for the first time against Rachel Ellering. I'm excited.
She's going to be married by that point, I think, Justin.
Which is fine. She's
going to be Taya Mundo.
Me and Taya have an understanding. I cheer for the other team. She gets in my face and humiliates me and makes me feel small. It's kind of like
oh, you're into that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a BDSM thing almost. It's like, you know, I'm a sub and she's a dom and it's fine.
This is fucked up, man. This is a lot of fucking talk on this podcast. We should be called Mats.
I'm making a
I think you need a codpiece.
It's a metaphor. The BDSM is a metaphor for our relationship in and out of the ring.
Stands for big dick sucking man. Is that what it stands for?
Her and her man, who could be the winner of Survivor. I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but Johnny
Goliath,
Johnny Morrison is a part of the next season of Survivor. Everybody,
yeah.
I wonder if Matt Van Wagenen had anything to do with getting Johnny on there.
I wonder if Eric's going to kick his ass for poaching his talent.
He might. What it was in the off season. Anyway,
Eric's a shooter, dude. We talked about that on the show. Master of the oil check, you know.
So here's the thing that I'm excited about for Maverick Pro Wrestling Heatwave on June 23rd, 2018, at the CML Studios in Glendale on Miraloma Avenue. So me and Jim both have tickets. Hopefully we can both make it. I'm excited for Taya versus Rachel Ellering. I'm excited to see what Andrew Everett's going to do. He has been killing it at Maverick, and as most people know, or maybe most people don't know, he's an Impact Tag Team Champion now.
Is he wrestling Sabu? Is Jack Evans wrestling Sabu? And if neither of those are the match,
they haven't really said who's matched up against who. He might be matched up against Super Crazy, which would be pretty awesome.
Fuck, dude, I want to see Jack versus Sabu. That would be.
Yeah, so Jack Evans is on the card. On the poster, he's faced off kind of against Chris Bay, which would be awesome. Chris Bay is the current Maverick Pro.
Right, so that's a title match.
He took the belt off of Cross. I don't know
how you say took because you know he stole it.
He took it. I don't know what Cross's status is for this. I don't know if Cross, if you're still watching, are you on this card? Are you gonna come in, or should Chris Bay be worried? He faced off with Chris last time.
Dude, he's not gonna announce that he's gonna come and fuck somebody up. Come on.
Well, last time he had an actual match against Simon Gotch, or Simon Grimm, which is what he goes by now that he's not in the WWE anymore, which was a great match. And actually very technical, a lot of mat wrestling.
He has cool merch now. He you know, Simon.
He's actually pretty sweet. I was digging Simon Grimm.
His Misfits themed merch is warms my heart, you know.
And Matt Cross does Misfits themed merch.
Not a fan
of Misfits themed merch.
No, of people from Cleveland.
Oh, you son of a bitch! He's a
just wrestlers from Cleveland. Just wrestlers. If you can name a good Cleveland wrestler,
Johnny Wrestling.
I don't know who that is, and you can't say it because you'll be spoiling everything. So now no one will ever know.
Oh, that's Joey Wrestling.
Oh, you meant Johnny Gargano?
Yeah, Johnny Wrestling.
Nah, I was kind of rooting for Tommaso the whole time.
You thought I was going to say The Miz, and I like The Miz, but Gargano is Cleveland wrestling.
Say what you will about The Miz, but he had the best match on the last pay-per-view he was on by far.
I mean, I don't know if Matt Cross ever really worked a lot of like the AIW and the Cleveland shows like Johnny Gargano, but Johnny Gargano actually wrestled in Cleveland a lot. In Erie, Pennsylvania, and Sharon, PA, and Akron, and like he actually made a name for himself on the Cleveland circuit at the same time that he was coming up in other, you know, indies around the country. So to me, Google. Johnny Gargano is Cleveland wrestling.
I have to Google because I don't want to like accidentally say something and Sid's from Cleveland secretly.
Yeah. And I don't think Dolph Ziggler is really a Cleveland guy, even though he cheers for the Cavs and everything. I think he's like Cincy or Southern Ohio or something.
Dude,
You really want to
he's
disown
like my
dog.
least
OVE
favorite
is
wrestler.
Dayton, which isn't really Cleveland, but we'll take
Oh,
him as
look,
Ohio.
M-Dog20 on a Cleveland All Pro Wrestling show. Justin is wrong.
Yeah, but how many and how long ago? Like, did he come up on that circuit?
This was 2004. This is when he was
Okay.
M-Dog. Yeah. I'm trying to look for like a wrestler I like. Oh, Glenn Spector, he's dope. Some guy, you know, he used to team with Danshoku Dino and DDT. They were the Gay Machine Guns, was the name of their team.
Well, see, in indie wrestling in Ohio was a big deal when it started happening because we didn't really have a territory in Cleveland.
Oh my God, you got to listen to some of these results, Justin. Okay, the Bouncer beat Iron Man. Sheik Abdul Hassan beat Dick Trimmins. Oh, eat your dick,
Trimmins. That's amazing.
Can't have dessert.
How did they do that?
The Basket Nazi beat Nemesis. The Canadian Bad Boy then beat Basket Nazi in a special challenge match. Jason Bain beat Christian Faith to retain the television title. Arrow with an exclamation point and Fabulous had an altercation and Fabulous suffered an ankle injury. Raymond Wright and Dick Trimmins beat Sheik Abdul Hassan and Discole Fever, the tag champs. Discole, Discole. Yeah. Okay, then there's a guy named Rockin' Nick Ritters and Johnny Blaze. I'm interested in this Dick Trimmins guy. He's all over
Oh,
these.
I bet you're interested in some Dick Trimmins.
Tyson Bishop. Dios the Rush Salvador beat Tyson Bishop. Let's see. So his name is literally God in Spanish. M-Dog20 beat Jerry Lynn to retain the junior title.
Jerry
His
Lynn.
wrestling
Ooh.
name was M-Dog20.
We didn't even get to talk to London about his little Jerry Lynn feud. Those were good. Those were good matches.
Nikita Alanov beat Darren Smythe. So they're working the Russian gimmick in 2003. Let's see. A guy named Brandon X. That's a threatening name. He must have been like, like.
And look, if he's Nation of Islam in Cleveland, that might be more threatening than you think.
The Adam Cage beat the Zodiac Killer, Barry Sagittarius. The Canadian Bad Boy beat the Beatnik Page. Oh God, man, no wonder you left. The Outlaw
Look,
LA.
they're still very indie shows. I mean, these guys are probably in a wrestling school out there. What are you looking at? AIW?
This is Cleveland All Pro Wrestling. The Outlaw LA Red defeated Dick Trimmins by submission. What?
By what is it? Ultimate Submission? What's that website?
Hate Pac. There's a wrestler named Hate Pac, and it's H8 Pac. And Adam Cage beat Fabulous John McChesney and These sound like fucking what's the Southpaw Regional Wrestling characters? Jesus Christ. But this is just look, Matt fucking Stryker. Adam Cage beat Matt Stryker. But you know what? It's the other Matt Stryker with a Y. Not our Matt Stryker. Wait. Yeah, he's with an I. Oh, look, the aerial icon, Justin Idol. We know what your name was there. Beat Arrow.
Secrets.
They did have Sumi Sakai wrestle Haley Hatred. That probably was a good women's match. There's a team called the Munchies, which is Dick Trimmins and Sheik Abdul Hassan's tag team. Beat the Dynasty, JT Lightning, and Hate Pac and Adam Cage. That's 3 people. And a tables elimination match. Wow, this is great. I could read this shit all day. I wonder.
You're enjoying this way too much.
Watch, you're gonna like look up Dick Trimmins and he's gonna be like Roman Reigns now or something.
We're gonna
happy birthday to the Big Dog, by the way.
Anyway, I was talking about the Mav Pro event. So I was my whole point was.
Is Dick Trimmins wrestling?
No, Dick Trimmins is not. But my whole point was, I'm going to support the ECW guys. I love those dudes. I'll be happy to see Shane Douglas. I'll be happy to see Super Crazy.
Wow.
Sabu's going to be there.
Dude, this is Dick Trimmins. He looks like fucking Vic Grimes.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Let me see that again. I'll hold it on you so we don't. Yeah.
Dick Trimmins.
Okay, I don't want to be the guy who bashes wrestlers and isn't a wrestler and has nothing to stand on, but just imagine like you're out and about one day and someone goes, "Hey, I'll pay you $50 to be a wrestler in this event." And you go, "All right." And the guy goes, "You need to go get an outfit. I'll see you in like 20 minutes at the place."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's happened. That guy probably paid money to the wrestling school, and then for free they said you can be on the show.
This is the tag team of Dick Trimmins, and Too Cool Abdul, known as Da Munchies.
What are they doing with their arms?
Dude, they're fucking flexing their ripped ass muscles, man.
I don't know how we get to these places. Anyway, so as I was saying,
dude, look at this mustache that Dick Trimmins has.
About Heatwave. So
Okay,
you've got Raven, you've got Shane Douglas, you've got Sabu, you've got Little
Raven's
Guido
doing stand-up comedy now.
You've got Super Crazy, and yes, you have Just Incredible. But again, I'll support those guys. I'll be happy to see them out there, but I'm more excited about other stuff. Like I think the Eli Everfly, Delilah Doom tag team of Doomfly. That's going to be awesome. They're going to be there. Who else is going to be there? Grado is going to be there, which probably I wonder if that means that Katarina is coming back, even though she lost her title.
Get Grado on the fucking show. We won't understand a word he's saying, but it'll be hilarious.
It would be kind of fun. Anyway, that should be an interesting event, and they're not running the Moose Lodge. They got too many ECW guys to pay, so they're doing this CML Studios place, which should be bigger. It'll be interesting. Jim and I both have tickets. Casey, are you going to come?
No, I couldn't get tickets, so I'm just kind of like...
Oh, we can get you a ticket if you want to come.
I need VIP or I do nothing.
Well, me and Jim didn't even get VIP tickets. I mean, I'm sure if we begged and pleaded, we could get them, but yeah, I didn't. I refused to buy a ticket before I knew where the venue was.
Yeah, I'd rather commit to their next show and like actually like make it.
But the next one's in Vegas. I don't know if they're coming back.
Oh, it's not like I have roots in Vegas or anything.
Well, that's true. We could actually go out to Vegas like me and Byron did for that Future Stars show.
Dude, Cross let us sleep on his couch, right?
To be honest with you.
Wouldn't Cross let us sleep?
Doesn't have a couch. It's a bed of nails.
Dude, it's cool, man. I watch Wing. I could fucking take it.
All right.
You just have to lay really flat and maybe have a cactus on top of it and hit the cactus.
Are you telling me that you seriously wouldn't be worried about spending the night in Cross's house? That like you wouldn't wake up buried in the desert somewhere?
Nah, dude. See, I would be more worried that I would like fart in my sleep and offend him. Because, like, you know, I'm a polite person. I'm a good guest. I'm hoping by that time, like, he's in Japan or he's doing a show in Mexico or something. Maybe we can just house sit while he's out of town. No, you don't want to be responsible for that because what if people like, you know, like what if you're like, oh, I hope he has some delicious crackers. I'm a little hungry. And he said to help myself. And you go and there's like a fucking human head in there. I know how to
wipe down my prints, man. As long as I wipe down my prints, I'm not worried about that.
I have really bad dry skin, dude. My DNA's all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, so that show looks interesting. We talked about Cross's thing at AAA last week. That whole show was awesome. Again,
dude, check out the opener and the whole show. But
yes,
yeah. I'm a little sad that he killed my Viking friends, but you know what? It's cool, Cross.
Look, dude, and Vikingo, I put him over big time on the show last week. That he was great in that match. It is very much a shame that Cross decided to murder his face.
Hey, if you're gonna murder somebody, murder the guy with the fucking sword first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why not?
We referenced the championship sword situation, Casey.
Oh, you guys talked about it? How having a guy just holding a sword around when one of your championships is a sword would be like someone coming and attacking people with a bunch of championship belts that weren't your championship belt. You guys talked about that?
Byron tried to. I told him he should wait till you were back and talk to you about it.
Oh, I'm hot about that a little bit. You know, there's a lot of Viking weapons that make more sense than a sword, like a fucking battle axe or Warhammer. Fucking Mjolnir. You know, Thor is really popular, Vikingo. But I feel like I can't get through to him because he's dead because Cross killed him and there's no hope now. But Cross killed him because of his choice of weapons.
Yeah.
And everyone else just died because they were there.
Yeah, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I also watched Impact. I think that this thing with the X's is interesting. I feel bad for El Hijo de Fantasma, whatever his name is, son of the ghost, as Josh Matthews likes to call him. He had his X division title shot and was unsuccessful, and that's it.
Was that the dopey move that we were talking about? The GIF, the weird little Matt Sydal thing.
I wasn't in the DM then.
Was that it, Byron? Is that when he lost to Matt Sydal with that weird move?
Had to be.
Yeah, I didn't really like that move. I also want to point out Meef's not here because he somehow caught the sickness that Justin had.
Meef doesn't like it. I don't mind that move.
Meef doesn't like that his boy lost, though, dude. Like it could have been like a fucking 950 splash, and he would have hated it.
Well, you look at it like it's having a guy like Sydal not doing like a 450 splash finish. I think is interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely, it doesn't have much impact to it, though.
It doesn't get the X division. Man, did you watch when the X division was dope? Like around like 2000.
Yeah.
You know when Joe was getting his push.
Joe was doing it. AJ was doing that.
Yeah.
And they had championship matches on like suspended like wires.
I fucking loved TNA back then. Like they did dumb stuff, but they didn't
Remember Sonny Siaki?
Yeah, that stuff was awesome back
with
then.
the fucking Elvis gimmick. Flying Elvis, Sonny Siaki. Yeah. He was
Elvis and The Rock.
Yeah, at the same time sometimes.
It was also this Impact was exactly what we talked about too. Of like, Jesus Christ, they have this blow off, the street fight with Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan at some other promotion, and then sure enough, here it comes, just sauntering this feud back into the Impact zone, and they even said that they compared the feud to the Dreamer Raven feud, as in like, we're just going to continue this for 1,000,000 years because we have no idea how to end it yet. But Heyman knew where the fuck he was going. I don't think they know where they're going with this gimmick. And at this point, it's like, guys, you got to come up with some kind of credible blow off in this day and age.
I don't believe that Heyman knew where he was going. Raven just signed with WCW, and so he knew where he was going then. You know.
Well, I mean, but my whole point is like, the feud has to have some kind of blow off. They've already gone too big with it now to extend it further.
It's the gun match. That's what you do.
Yeah, gun on the wire,
gun on a pole, gun on the X.
The whole Raven Tommy Dreamer thing. That was something without an ending. Eventually, Tommy went over, but he was never supposed to. That was the whole appeal of.
Yeah, but the cool thing is when he went over, then they kick-started the whole WWF thing with Van Dam and
I don't know what they
second
do
after it.
Oh, and back to my Andrew Everett thing. Andrew Everett is awesome. I think that he needs a little bit of a look makeover, though. The scruffy beard and the long hair doesn't really work to me.
It doesn't work for the other 5 guys.
Okay, Justin, we're playing makeover wrestler right now. Which look do you think you're going to put on him? And it has to be good because me and Byron are going to compete with
what
you.
On Andrew Everett. I would make him look like Blanca.
Paint him all green. Paint him green and shit.
Green with a weird like furry hair mohawk. Like I would do something extreme with him. I think he's a good enough wrestler that he could have a crazy look and not have to do anything with the gimmick. He could just still be the heel that he is as the gimmick.
See, I would give him a mask that looks like Ben Affleck's face.
Well,
what about
but not reference it. Not reference it on commentary at all.
I would give him Ben Affleck's back tattoo.
Oh my god.
What is that of, Byron?
like
just tribal
dragons
designs or something. Yeah.
It's just the barbed wire that goes around your bicep, but it's just all over his back.
It's that,
Byron, are you going
it's
to
that
All In?
Goldberg tattoo.
I did not get tickets to All In, so if I go, it's going to be secondary market bought last minute. But it's in September. I don't know.
Do you feel like it's worth it? I mean,
I think so.
It's
going to be an iconic moment. All In is this massive event, and they don't even have streaming yet.
Oh, dude! If you look at the actual convention they have around it, the StarCast, it's pretty big.
That's what's unique about it. The rest is a Ring of Honor show, really.
Yeah,
but
more or less.
What's so cool about it is you're going to the show that the boys put on and sold 10,000 seats. The boys,
and I agree with that. That's cool too. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, Ring of Honor is running places smaller than this, and they have the same group of guys on a regular basis. Why aren't they running bigger shows?
But they don't have Rain, they don't have Penta or Phoenix.
I guess. Yeah, there's some
they didn't get the smart thing that these guys figured out, in that all of these fans think, a lot of them think that, oh, fuck WWE, we're cool, we're sticking to the man, wearing Bullet Club shirts in the front row of Raw that we paid $400 to the promotion so we can wear our $25 shirt in the front row. These are the kind of fans that they were catering to. And buying a ticket is more not just seeing the matches, but supporting these guys and saying fuck you to Vince McMahon for a lot of these people.
Well, but I gotta think,
smart marketing.
I don't think you should oversaturate the market, but I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying this should be twice or 4 times a year. They should actually just start a promotion at this point. The amount of money they're going to make, even with the ticket prices there, at 10,000 heads plus merch, is astronomical.
I still think it's fucked up. They did the same weekend as the Lucha Expo, and I think that they would do even better if they didn't do that.
Well, maybe, but how fucked up is it? I mean, they sold out, and they got half the talent that are at Expo Lucha. The second day of Expo Lucha now is going to be like Kevin Cross and 5 guys who aren't booked on All In.
It's,
I'll probably be there over Chicago, even though Chicago is like my second home, but
I've never been to Chicago in my life. And fuck, man. It's like, I don't know. Like both of these events could have done better if they were farther apart, I think. But it's just nitpicking on my part.
I think that All In could do better because they
sold out.
They sold out right away. I think now
Expo Lucha's not doing terrible either. I mean, they pre-sold what they were planning to pre-sell. Now maybe their walk-ups get hurt by this, but I don't know.
See, but Vegas, you get all kinds of crazy walk-ups just from people out of town. Like, what the fuck, Lucha Libre? Okay,
Right.
I think you're going to see how StarCast does. I think that's going to be the next sort of box office, sort of where they're going to draw the line on what how the money that is.
So should we counter program and go to Vegas and podcast from there and do 4-star cast?
It's hilarious how for All In they were doing the All In banners. We should do something like this. They were doing like so and so is All In, and it's like Kazuchika Okada and the All In.
Where's the Val Venus one, bro? Where's the Val Venus is All In?
And
that's
then,
what I want.
Can we do MMMshow is All Out?
And now for StarCast, now you see it's like you'll see something that goes Noel Foley. It's All In for StarCast.
Right, because that's all they can get on at this point.
Oh, dude, we'll be like all Joey Ryan is All In your butt, and then it'll be yeah, there we go. You're welcome, right. Joey.
But I think it'll be a good show. I think the Bucks are better wrestler minds than a lot of people give them credit for, and I think Cody Rhodes is a tremendous, it's in his blood, and he has hard opinions.
Can we do a podcast that weekend called All In Your Guts?
Oh God. Rebecca's talking about Italian beef sandwiches. I don't do Italian beef sandwiches. I like the combo, which is an Italian sausage and an Italian beef.
Are you listening? Are you listening?
With the giardiniera.
Vinny, you listening?
With the giardiniera, as they call it, the giardiniera. That's the way. I don't just like to dip my beef. I like to get a sausage and a beef.
See, Justin eats like a 6-year-old and eats crackers all day.
He puts ketchup on his eggs.
I do not.
Oh shit!
Wow,
That
I
is
just wanted to
disgusting.
say.
You just reminded me, guys. Talk for a bit. I'll be back. I have to show people something. but it's in the
Okay,
kitchen.
because I'm gonna close out the show pretty soon, but I do have one more thing.
I
was-
gotta get going. It's 1 a.m. over here. We talked to Paul London. I'm like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
let's,
get your thing. Get your thing.
Oh, it's cool. I'll do it later. I'll do it
Oh,
later.
dude.
It's fine.
Well, so the end of Impact was the only other thing I was gonna say. The X's are I don't know. There's a mean game of tic-tac-toe going on at Impact. Something exciting is going to happen soon.
people are getting hurt.
Yeah, random people, all sorts of people, all the people. And Josh Matthews is worried, so I like this angle.
This is interesting because it's not like they brought in Penta and Phoenix as like, hey, look at someone else's promotion, like, guys or whatever. This is going to be an Impact person who's causing a lot of damage.
Penta is facing Aries next week for the belt also. And we'll have a lot to talk about after next week's episode of Impact. I think it'll be interesting to see how everyone fares. I have more to say about the Cuerno thing too, but we can talk or Phantasma thing, but we'll talk with Meatloaf about that next time he's on. Was there anything else you wanted to show us, Casey, or you're good?
Oh yeah, let me take it out. No.
Mass mats and dick jokes. That's the biggest dick joke around, or the littlest one.
No joke. It's no joke, Justin. You know this. We need some Mongolian goggles to go with the glasses, baby.
So before we go, I just wanna just plug our Sunny Kiss interview real quick. That was tremendous. We lucked out with 2 tremendous.
Yeah, I don't
guests.
even know if you need to plug it. It's doing really, really well. The response has been
Awesome.
great. A lot of people are getting to know Sunny. Didn't know a lot about him, including
That's awesome.
endorsements from people like Lucha Blog. I did get some questions as to why in our promotion we didn't promote that Sunny was an openly gay wrestler. And
That kind of bothered me, dude. It's like, why have to like promote something that's such a small part of the person's life?
Well, and don't get me wrong, because I think it is a big part of Sunny's persona to a certain extent, but at the same time, the whole point of the episode was to let Sunny tell his story the way that he wanted his story to be told.
Right.
It's not for me to tell Sunny's story
And to put labels
and
on
all
them.
I need to do as the producer and promoter of it is to get you interested. And I think people have done that. And if you feel like that's a big part of the story, that's great. Repost it, tag it, and you say it. We don't necessarily have to say it. I just chose not to specifically trigger on that point because as Casey was saying, there's a lot of aspects of who Sunny Kiss is that are interesting for promotion. We can tease the parts of Lucha Underground that he talked about, or tease the parts of, his story coming up as a wrestler. Or I did tease the part of Sunny talking about being compared to Exoticos, because a lot of people, including myself, the first time, instantly kind of said, oh, well, Sunny is going to fill kind of the Exotico thing that AAA always does. But Sunny is not used the way that an Exotico would be used in AAA. Sunny is used completely different in Lucha Underground. You'll have to watch it to see it. And again, I just think it's Sunny's story to tell. Sunny told that story in the episode, which you can hear, which is the previous episode 94. And there's no reason for us to harp on something that isn't our part of the story. That's not where we come in. Where we come in is having the forum to express these things. I'm not going to promote Paul London for, his stories about Ashley and Crispin Glover. I'm going to promote him for cod pieces in Lucha Underground and, smiling at Vince.
An exclusive cod piece look on the podcast.
Yeah. But anyway,
season 4 spoiler.
Go back and check that out. It was awesome to have Paul this week. There's a few other guests. It's also Mil Muertes' birthday today, so everyone say
happy
hi.
birthday, sir.
Happy birthday to Ricky Banderas / El Macias / Mil Muertes.
Pascual Mendoza. Come on.
Not one of
Kayfabe.
those, by the way, is a shoot name. Even
No,
Ricky
I know.
Harris is not
Yeah.
a shoot name.
Hey, we don't need to tell people that. It's all right.
I love it though.
says it.
He's been
also
Ricky since forever though.
I want to plug our famous B thing on Lucha.
Dude, I saw Ricky and as Ricky ringside in either Wing or IWA Japan. And I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. Because that was like 93, dude. Or 92.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What were you plugging, Byron?
Our famous B video on Lucha Central. There's a lot of best of MMM shows on Lucha Central that are worth checking out. It's pretty cool.
And we have our own section of videos there now too. People were having a little bit of trouble finding them, but there is in the video section a whole best of masks, mats, and mayhem section there. I was very proud to see that that the main Lucha Underground social media retweeted Lucha Central today for the best, the 100 best of, which I believe is an Eric Mutter piece.
Yeah, and it's a good piece. I'd like to congratulate Eric on the good job he's doing over there.
All right. So
did you have something else to say about Eric, Casey?
No, because he got actually offended when I was fucking with him, so I don't fuck with him anymore. It's fine.
All right.
Sex offender.
Where'd you go, Justin?
So
you didn't want to be on camera if I said it.
Thanks to Byron for all the hard work setting up the Paul London interview. That was him this week. Last week, we both tag teamed to get Sonny all set up, but Byron did it all this week. So thanks. And Byron's got his work cut out for him, stacking that 100th episode, which is coming up really soon, guys.
I got two people booked so far.
He's got two. Let's see if you can. Let's see what you can do to make it an all-star jam-packed episode.
How much fun was it talking to Paul?
It was great.
Dope, man.
I want to send out apologies right now to Urban Heretic, who was a little salty that we had Paul on the show. Apparently, Paul stood him up for Last Real Heels at some point in time. So Urban is a bit salty at us that Paul did our show. I had no idea that there was any heat with Urban and not getting that guest, but he was not happy to learn that we got that guest. So if you see Urban flaming us on social media, just know that regardless of the fact that he is mad at us, I still love Urban, and I'm sorry that it went down that way. And we'll just leave it at that. Yeah. So if you guys don't have anything else, for Jim, who's not here, for Meatloaf, who's across the pond, for Byron Feeder, for the man, the professor, the straight A student over there, Casey, congratulations, brother, by the way.
Guys, before we go off, I need a teacher versus teacher feud. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Him and Stryker, really?
Fucking Dean Douglas versus Matt Stryker. So
I need a Casey versus Stryker fucking feud.
You know what I think about that?
Fucking feud? What?
Yeah.
You know what I think about that? Until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.